Chapter 179. Inside the cave, the ice and snow slowly melted. The giant Xing Meng suddenly let out a loud roar. The ice and snow on his body exploded, and he fell to the ground, frozen stiff. It took a long time for him to recover. When he stood up, he found Yu Yang and City Mistress Fallen Flowers lying on the ground, unconscious. He was ecstatic and shouted, "In the end, I, Xing Meng, still completed this mission. Haha, Gu Jue and Duke Xian both died in battle. Ding Zong is just a coward. He doesn't deserve to share the victory with me." He jumped in front of Yu Yang, raised his wolf fawn gloves, and prepared to attack. Suddenly, he found someone behind him and was startled. Turning his head to look, he discovered that there was a cute little lamia lowly blinking her big eyes at him. She looked very cute, but the power of her attack scared Xing Meng out of his wits. In the hands of the cute little lowly, there were two small and exquisite frost blades. With just a light slash, Xing Meng found that his right leg had silently fallen off, and the wound quickly froze. Roar! Xing Meng was stunned. He had never seen his body so weak. His leg was actually cut off by someone? How is this possible? Even a mountain-splitting axe shouldn't be able to cut his skin. No, this was a divine weapon. Xing Meng was so scared that he ran for his life. He jumped on one leg and used his arms to climb the rocks. He ran out of the heavens-lined cave, afraid that the little lamia would chase after him. The little lamia did not chase after him. Instead, she took out a dark golden bough that was even larger than her body. She plucked the bough with her fingers, and countless bolts of lightning condensed, forming a crackling ball of lightning. It whistled as it flew towards Xing Meng's back. There was a deafening rumble. Xing Meng was like a bolt from the blue. He was blasted into the air, and the flesh on his back was split open. His body was char-black. He dizzily fell from the sky and rolled on the cliff. He bumped into snow and rocks along the way. When he came to his senses, he was about to fall into the heaven lake. He was so scared that he hurriedly grabbed the rock wall with both hands to reduce the force of his fall. With great effort, Xing Meng finally climbed down from the cliff. He looked at himself beside the heaven lake and discovered that he had become a roasted pig, the kind that was scorched because all of his skin had turned into charcoal. "I will definitely take revenge." Xing Meng was determined. He was prepared to take revenge as soon as he recovered from his injuries. He would definitely not let the enemy off. If he couldn't win in the open, he could report to his family and friends in secret. Anyway, he would make a move when the opportunity presented itself. Anyway, with someone providing him with information, he wasn't afraid that he wouldn't have a chance to take revenge. Xing Meng gritted his teeth in hatred, especially when he saw his only eye and broken leg. Woof! Suddenly, a strange barking sound came from behind him. "Damn dog, get lost!" Xing Meng discovered that there was a demon wolf with wounds all over its body behind him. Perhaps it had smelled the blood on his body, but its eyes were filled with bloodlust. Xing Meng flew into a rage. A bronze-ranked, level 3 demon wolf dared to have designs on him? If not for the pain in his wound, he would have killed it with a single slap. Meow. The demon wolf, which was covered in wounds, suddenly meowed like a cat and took 2 steps forward. "It's good for me to eat some dog meat to nourish my body." Xing Meng sneered. He stood up and prepared to punch the heavily injured demon wolf to death. Oh, woo! Suddenly, a dark golden summoning rune appeared on the demon wolf's forehead. There were also mysterious runes flashing in its eyes. Its body quickly changed shape and became huge. A wave of black flames burned fiercely. Soon after, a dark golden pillar of light rose up and turned into a giant golden battle wolf, entering the demon wolf's body. Following a deafening roar, the black flames exploded like a storm. Its aura was like a mountain torrent. Even the giant Xing Meng, who was standing on one leg, couldn't help but take a step back from the shock. The black smoke curled up and dispersed. The hell's black flames, which were faintly glowing with a dark golden color, gathered together and continued to burn. What appeared in front of Xing Meng was a 3-headed demon wolf with 3 heads. The dark golden hell's black flames burned on its neck and back. The middle head was the largest, while the two sides were slightly smaller. There were different summoning runes on its forehead. Its aura was released as if a demon king had descended. This wolf can actually transform itself? Is this a gold-ranked level 5 Cerberus? No, that's not right. This should be an ancient world exterminating demon wolf. Although it has 2 more heads, it is indeed an ancient demon wolf. Xingming felt that his hair was about to explode. It was better not to provoke an ancient demon wolf that knew how to hide its strength and transform itself. Fortunately, its level was a little low. Otherwise, he would have become dog food. Woof, meow, awoo. The cries of the 3 heads were different. However, the 6 wolves' eyes were filled with bloodlust. They all expressed the same wish, which was to eat. Xingming hurriedly jumped 2 steps back and tried his best to slow down his voice. Gently and carefully, he took out a large magic crystal and threw it on the ground. Be good, paparazzi. Eat the magic crystal. Human meat is not tasty. 1 is not enough. I'll give you another one. However, that terrifying demon wolf didn't even look at the magic crystal. It swept the magic crystal away with its claws and pounced forward like lightning. What followed was a series of tragic screams. Heaven's Line Cave. When Yu Yang woke up, he realized that the wounds on his body had already healed. His body was filled with spiritual energy, and his strength was extremely strong. When he woke up, he realized that there was a kind of uncontrollable power. The moment he touched the ground, he would be bounced into the air. It took him a long time to barely control himself to land. He remembered that he had gone berserk when he saw the impatiens kill the 3 girls. Why didn't he die? Instead, he had a breakthrough. Yu Yang realized that there was a kind of uncontrollable power in his body. It was as if he could shake a mountain with one move and make a river collapse with one stomp of his foot. Yu Yang landed on the ground. He didn't control his strength well, and both his feet actually broke the stone surface. His feet sank deep into the rock. The hard rock was as soft as tofu. Yu Yang's body swayed, and he almost fell. He reached out his hand to support the rock arm. He didn't use any strength, but the rock immediately shattered, leaving behind 5 deep claw marks. Yu Yang saw the mysterious beauty on the ground and wanted to rush over to save her. However, he exerted force with both his feet and shot into the rock wall like a cannonball. With a rumble, he sank deep into the rock. This flying speed was more than 10 times faster than before. Yu Yang couldn't smoothly control his newly acquired power. At the same time, he was very surprised. When did he become so strong? Was this done by the impatiens? They are fine. Come up. I have something to say to you. A clear voice came down from the top of Heaven's Line Cave. When Yu Yang heard it, he felt that this voice was very familiar. However, he couldn't remember where he heard it. With a leap, Yu Yang didn't have time to turn around. With a bang, he smashed the rock and directly broke out of the cave. He jumped out of the rubble in a sorry state. Only then did he realize that there was a mysterious woman standing in front of him. She was wearing a snow-white, tight-fitting dragon skin suit with her delicate shoulders exposed. Although he could only see her back, Yu Yang's heart suddenly lit up. He suddenly realized something and shouted, "It's you." This mysterious woman was the mature beauty with extremely beautiful breasts that Yu Yang met at Shangwu Camp before he entered Tong Tian Tower. She was the one who gave Yu Yang a crystal card. At the same time, she was also the one who introduced Yu Yang into Tong Tian Tower. This was an extremely mysterious woman. No matter who Yu Yang asked, he was unable to find out anything about her. Everyone who knew about her would change their expression and change the topic the moment she was mentioned. Even the old cunning fox only laughed it off and didn't say a word about it. Who exactly was she? The Night Empress was the heavenly imperial guardian of Tian Luo Kingdom, but she was jealous of her. From this, it could be seen how mysterious this mature beauty with huge breasts was. I know that you're looking for me and have a lot of questions in your heart. The mysterious mature beauty didn't turn her head and only spoke softly. There are many things that would be a burden in your heart if you knew about it now. That's why I didn't tell you about it. However, if you want to hear about it, I can tell you about it. It's just that if you heard about it, you might not be as happy as you are now. Then let me ask you a few questions. Yu Yang didn't want to bear any responsibility if he knew the truth. He was just a little curious and asked, "Can you tell me, who are you?" "I am the Tong Tian Tower's introducer." The mysterious mature beauty replied softly. "What's an introducer?" Yu Yang didn't understand. An introducer is equivalent to a master and a teacher. However, you don't need to acknowledge me as your master. I will guide you in whatever you think you need. It's completely free, there's no compensation, and there's no forced learning. If you think that one day you don't need me as an introducer anymore, you can break away from this relationship. Actually, all rankers have a predecessor as an introducer. You're not the only one. The mature beauty nodded slightly. "But you didn't teach me anything." Yu Yang sweated profusely. Wasn't this kind of introducer a little too irresponsible? In the past, I had a smart and quick-witted younger sister. Her potential was also very good. From the bottom of my heart, I hoped that she would be able to level up as soon as possible so that she wouldn't take the wrong path and become a peak ranker as soon as possible. Thus, I arranged a path that was most suitable for her to train on. I gave her the most suitable beasts and the best treasures. I gave her the best of everything and satisfied her with everything. However, in the end, she walked on a path that I didn't expect. After she leveled up to become a peak ranker, she immediately broke off relations with me and became enemies. She felt that my arrangements were a mistake, that she didn't have freedom in her life. It made her feel like everything was arranged by someone else. After that time, I reflected deeply. Maybe she was right. Freedom is the most important thing in this world. I didn't give you anything, but I gave you freedom. You don't need to accept my arrangements. You don't need to accept my missions. You have complete freedom and will to live. You don't need to train to a certain realm at a certain time, and you don't need to bear the pressure of ranking competition like others. I hope that you are happy, live happily, train happily, and do whatever you want. No matter if it's right or wrong, I won't interfere. Your improvement is all because of your hard work. In this way, I'm not very responsible as an introducer, but you are free. The mature beauty slowly gave an example, her voice gradually becoming softer. Freedom is good, but not saying anything at all isn't too good either, right? Yu Yang felt that freedom was definitely good, but having someone to guide him wasn't bad either. "What do you want to know?" The mature beauty asked. For example, what's going on with my current body? Yu Yang felt that his strength had increased greatly, but he didn't know how to control it. It was a headache. Your current state is that of an innate level 1. In this state, you will be very distressed if you live in the soaring dragon continent, because if you touch anything, it will be destroyed. If you want to hug your loved ones, they might break their bones. So after you reach the innate realm, if you don't know how to control it, you won't be able to live in the soaring dragon continent. The mature beauty suddenly laughed. Her laughter was very soft, but it was exceptionally pleasing to the ears. It was like a cool breeze caressing one's face, soft and gentle, making one feel refreshed both physically and mentally. Then what should I do? Yu Yang now felt that it was very important to have an introducer. If he had to rely on himself to comprehend it, who knows when he would be able to comprehend it? Normal people would first learn how to control it, then learn hidden breath before slowly climbing to the innate realm. You are a little different from them. You are still a child. You don't know anything, yet you have already become an innate. Moreover, you have reached innate level 1 in one go. That's why it's like this. You now have the power of a level 9 saint, but you still use the level of a level 6 elder to control it. Of course it won't work. The mature beauty didn't turn her head. She only stretched her jade-like hand back, her white finger lightly touching the space between Yu Yang's eyebrows. A wave of thoughts flowed into Yu Yang's mind, making him feel as if he was suddenly enlightened. So it's like this. A brand new method appeared in Yu Yang's mind. At the same time, he combined it with his own situation, and in the end, it turned into an enlightenment. Yu Yang circulated his innate qi and tried using this hidden breath method. He immediately discovered that all the power in his body seemed to have been perfectly sealed in his body, quietly sleeping, waiting for him to wake it up when he needed it. His body instantly returned to its previous state, and the feeling of being able to control it all returned. He moved his limbs a little and discovered that being a normal person was much more blissful. After becoming an innate, even rocks would shatter with just a touch. This kind of life was really too terrifying. Luckily, it was outside. If it was in the Ivy Academy or at home, pulling you Bing or touching you Shuang might cause them to get hurt. It was best to be like this now and be a normal person during normal times. When it was time to fight, he would need to unseal his power, then unseal it and fight with the power of an innate. This was really killing two birds with one stone. Actually, there's some things that I won't tell you. You might feel confused. However, if you slowly explore and improve on your own, you can also comprehend them. In addition, you will meet all kinds of people in different realms and environments. You can interact with them, learn from them, and slowly learn. That way, you can also slowly learn. Isn't that a more interesting process? Moreover, you are a little man and have your own pride. You probably don't want others to control you too much. So if you have something that you want to ask, I will tell you then. Train well. I will come and find you after a year. The beautiful, mature beauty seemed to be preparing to leave. Wait, beautiful teacher, what's your name? Yu Yang hurriedly asked for the beautiful, mature beauty's name. My name is not in the introductory list. If you want to know, you can go to the 6th floor of Tong Tian Tower. You will see a ranking of warriors, and the number 1 is my name. The beautiful, mature beauty almost ignited Yu Yang's curiosity. Then how strong are you exactly? Yu Yang felt that if she was very strong, then he could also bask in her light. In the future, if he saw any impatience, he could throw out his name to scare them. Wasn't just Sky Law. His own teacher was the number 1 person in the 6th floor of Tong Tian Tower. The beautiful, mature beauty smiled. She seemed to have seen through Yu Yang's thoughts and laughed. In the 9th floor of Tong Tian Tower, there is also a ranking. You are still number 1? Yu Yang was so shocked that he almost fainted. That ranking doesn't have a number 1, because the people who are ranked at the top have never officially fought against each other. Let me put it this way, I am one of the people who are ranked at the top. The beautiful, mature beauty's words almost made Yu Yang fall to the ground. What was the difference between this and being number 1? One last question. Beautiful teacher, do you have a boyfriend? Yu Yang was very suitable to be a part-time paparazzi because his gossipy nature was very strong. If there is a human man who has broken through the 10th floor of Tong Tian Tower and entered the 11th floor, I might consider it. After all, I have been living alone for 1,000 years. The beautiful, mature beauty's words had a strong hint, almost stealing Yu Yang's soul away. However, what made Yu Yang faint was that the beautiful, mature beauty in front of him, who didn't seem to be more than 20 years old, was actually 1,000 years old seductress. Forget it, Bai Sujin had also trained for 1,000 years to become a white snake. Moreover, compared to Queen Vivian Li, it wasn't considered much. Queen Vivian Li could wake up for 10,000 years. She was even more awesome. Seeing the beautiful, mature beauty use her lily-white hands to cut open space and disappear, Yu Yang was no longer surprised because his heart was already numb. In comparison, the Demon King Ha Xian, who was still restricted by space, was a little tragic. Yu Yang felt that it was fine even if the Demon King Ha Xian was tragic. Anyway, this guy was his opponent. The beautiful, mature beauty was active in the 9th and 10th floor of Tong Tian Tower. The Demon King Ha Xian was probably only working in the 7th or 8th floor of Tong Tian Tower. He was happy that he could see the beautiful, mature beauty's skirt. However, after Yu Yang calculated, he felt that even if he had the strength of a level 1 and 8, he still wouldn't be able to defeat the arrogant Demon King Ha Xian. However, according to the Summoning Grimoire, this guy was a level 8 Demon King. Could it be he was innate level 8? That Ha Xian guy wasn't that strong, right? Yu Yang hurriedly denied it. If it was like what Grandma Wu Tung and the Night Empress had said, according to the Tong Tian Tower standard, a level 9 saint would be considered as an innate level 1. Yu Yang felt that the Demon King Ha Xian's strength would at most be an innate level 4 or 5, maybe not even. Yu Yang desperately slandered this strong opponent in his heart. He wished that he could curse the Demon King Ha Xian into a pitiful little dwarf. This was mainly because the impact that the Demon King Xian gave to Yu Yang was too great. Currently, only he and the Impatience could penetrate the summoning grimoire's protective shield. The others, such as the Marquis of Zijin, simply couldn't do anything to the summoning grimoire's protective shield. This was the difference between them. When I reach innate level 5 or 6, I'll go to the Demon Abyss and kill that Demon King Xian guy. Whatever concubines or princesses, I'll capture them all and make them my female slaves. As Yu Yang was daydreaming, he suddenly heard a weak moan coming from the cave. It seemed that Princess Sisai had woken up. Yu Yang hurriedly slipped in. He could deal with the female slaves later. Right now, he had to take care of this royal swordswoman who had a pair of tiger-like eyes. This was related to his future blissful sexual life. As soon as he came down, he discovered that the mysterious beauty who had her heart pierced by the Impatience had sat up, clutching her chest as if she was in pain. "Don't move. I'll help you take a look." Yu Yang volunteered himself. Was this guy pretending to be kind, or was he really a pervert? No matter what, the mysterious beauty was speechless towards him. Chapter 180. Yu Yang moved closer. He really wanted to show the mysterious beauty the wound on her chest. The mysterious beauty was embarrassed. If it wasn't for his anxious face, she would have already sent him flying with a book. She reached out to block Yu Yang and tried to soften her voice. "I'm fine, my heart isn't injured. There's no danger to my life. I was hypnotized just now, my whole body is weak, and I can't move in a semi-conscious state." "It's good that you're fine." Yu Yang secretly heaved a sigh of relief. So Impatience was just scaring him and didn't really kill the mysterious beauty. She was just trying to provoke him. He was provoked to the point of going berserk and completely losing his mind. What happened after that? Was it the mysterious beauty with big breasts who chased Impatience away? Did he break through to innate level 1 because he went berserk? From the looks of it, Impatience didn't seem to have done anything bad. She only used her unique hypnotic ability to incite his anger and stimulate him to break through to innate. Phoenix Fairy Beauty was not related to him at all, so why would she do such a thing? Yu Yang couldn't understand, but he felt that Impatience's big breasts were really scary. She could send him flying with just a pair of big breasts. He was really speechless. "I'm leaving." Seeing that Yu Yang was deep in thought, the mysterious beauty suddenly opened her mouth, indicating that she wanted to leave. "You have suffered a serious internal injury. You need to rest well. Don't go anywhere." Yu Yang obviously couldn't bear to let the little beauty leave. He didn't even know her name. Maybe this girl was Miss Shui. If that was really the case, then he definitely had to explain to her that the annulment of the marriage was caused by someone else, and he didn't even know what was going on. Yu Yang felt that regardless of whether the pitiful guy wrote the divorce letter or not, he wouldn't admit it. In any case, he definitely couldn't let this girl go. He definitely couldn't let her slip away from his hands. "Don't worry about me." The mysterious beauty was a little resistant to Yu Yang's concern. She then softened her tone and said, "I'm fine now. You should go and see Qianqian and Fallen Flowers." "Wait, can you tell me your name?" Yu Yang guessed that this girl wouldn't say it, but he still couldn't help but ask. He really wanted to know more about this mysterious beauty who liked to read books and stalk him. Who was she? Was it Miss Shui or someone else? Was it because he was engaged to the pitiful guy, or was it because he was curious? Did someone send her, or did she follow him of her own accord? Everything was a mystery. Yu Yang hoped to see the light and understand the truth. Even if he knew something about her, it would be better than guessing in secret. Of course, he also knew that with this girl's personality, she most likely wouldn't say it out loud. However, every little bit of secret he could dig out was a little bit, and he couldn't let it go no matter what. As for Yu Yang's question, the mysterious beauty stood up, turned around, and left as if she hadn't heard anything. Yu Yang blurted out again, "Why did you save me in the first place? Why didn't you tell me your secret?" Everyone has their own secret. The mysterious beauty turned around and smiled. The kind of smile didn't have any sound, and didn't have much of an expression either. The smile that came out from her eyes that were as clear as a spring filled Yu Yang's heart with happiness. He had never thought that her smile would emit such a moving charm. It was as if he had suddenly seen the light of dawn in the darkness and loneliness, illuminating his heart. Yu Yang's heartbeat sped up by 100 times. It felt like his first love. He always wanted to say something to her, but his mouth was clumsy and couldn't say anything. He could only stare at her blankly. The mysterious beauty turned around and waved her jade-like fingers lightly, bidding farewell. Her body emitted a gentle breeze and disappeared in front of Yu Yang. She was like a wind-snow fairy that came and went without a trace, and also like a mysterious fairy that could bring light to Yu Yang's life at any time. This kind of girl, he definitely couldn't miss it. He definitely had to push her down and take her into his harem. Yu Yang clenched his fists and made up his mind. If you can't bear to let her go, you can chase after her. Let me and Fallen Flowers die here. Princess Sisai's voice was very weak, but the jealousy it contained could practically drown the entire cave. It could even drown Yu Yang alive. Your Highness, are you all right? Yu Yang only just realized that Princess Sisai was still stuck in the stone wall. He hurriedly flew over to help her. Don't come over. Help me find some clothes. It wasn't that Princess Sisai couldn't come out. She only let the impatience break her clothes. Although she had a forthright personality, she couldn't possibly bear her little but in front of Yu Yang. Hence, she remained in the cave wall. Of course, her injuries weren't light. She was so tired that she almost collapsed and didn't have the strength to move much. Yu Yang hurriedly took out a set of Yu Bing's clothes from his littering. It might not fit her, but it was better than nothing. According to Yu Yang's real thoughts, a naked Princess Sisai would be better. However, he reckoned that this wish of his would be a little difficult to fulfill. If he saw a naked Princess Sisai, he would either kill her to keep her secret or cry and drown the soaring dragon continent with her tears. Of course, Yu Yang wanted to push her down. However, it was still a little difficult now. The best way was to pretend to be an obedient child and lower her psychological defenses. If he wanted to push this Rouge Tigress down, he had to lower her psychological defenses to the lowest level. At the same time, he had to make her lose her vigilance. Close your eyes. Princess Sisai warned Yu Yang not to peek. Otherwise, she would let him taste the power of her little white teeth and see if she could bite him to death. Don't worry, I'm very obedient. I promise I won't peek. Yu Yang expressed that he wouldn't peek. He wasn't peeking, he was peeking out in the open. Princess Sisai knew that this brat was a pervert. Her little hands had already covered her breasts and lower body. Other than glaring at him with her tiger-like eyes, she also showed her little white teeth as a warning. She thought that Yu Yang wouldn't be able to see clearly if she hid in the darkness of the cave. It was a pity that she didn't know that Yu Yang and Queen Vivian Li had the ability to see things in the dark. Yu Yang obviously pretended not to see. He passed the clothes to Princess Sisai, hoping that this Rouge Tigress would take her hand away. Put down the clothes and scram. Princess Sisai saw that this brat was about to drool like a waterfall. She knew that she was at a disadvantage. So this brat could see. I didn't see anything. I didn't see your slender waist or long legs. Yu Yang wanted to prove his innocence. Wipe your saliva. Princess Sisai couldn't stand him anymore. He was obviously a big pervert, yet he still wanted to pretend to be an obedient child. How could there be such a shameless person in this world? Yu Yang was afraid that this Rouge Tigress would hold a big stone and smash it on his head. He didn't dare to stay any longer. He threw down the clothes and hurriedly slipped away. Returning to City Mistress Fallen Flowers' side, he carried the sleeping City Mistress Fallen Flowers. Suddenly, his expression changed. He realized that City Mistress Fallen Flowers didn't have a heartbeat. God, this Fallen Flowers girl can't die. I still want to be the first one to push her down. Yu Yang was scared half to death. He hurriedly placed City Mistress Fallen Flowers' soft body on the flat rock surface. He stretched out his hand to check her breathing. It seemed that she wasn't breathing either. It seemed that City Mistress Fallen Flowers' injuries were too serious. She hadn't been treated for a long time, so she was too weak and her heart had stopped beating. If he didn't perform CPR and CPR now, this girl would die. Don't scare me. Don't scare me. Wake up quickly. Yu Yang was so scared that his heart almost burst. He was so anxious that he almost went crazy. Did he have to watch City Mistress Fallen Flowers die? Yu Yang punched himself. Calm down, think about what to do. CPR, CPR, I can do it, I can do it. Yu Yang took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. Yu Yang first laid Luo Hua City Mistress' body flat on the ground. As he recalled the method of CPR, he opened Luo Hua City Mistress' lower jaw with his trembling hands and pinched Luo Hua City Mistress' nose. He took a deep breath of air and quickly blew in her small mouth. After blowing a few mouthfuls, Yu Yang saw Luo Hua City Mistress' chest rising and falling. He quickly stopped. He remembered that he couldn't blow too much. The ratio of blowing air to chest compressions was 230. The number of times he did artificial respiration just now seemed to be too many. As for the hand gestures for chest compressions, Yu Yang was so anxious that he didn't even remember how they were done. It seemed like the palms were crossed and the fingers were interlocked. He couldn't remember anything else. Yu Yang found that his hands were shaking badly. He quickly took a deep breath and controlled himself. He didn't want to use too much force and break City Mistress Fallen Flowers' sternum. Wake up, Fallen Flowers girl. You can't be so bad. No matter what, you are a City Mistress. Don't die like this. Wake up. Don't you like flowers? I will give you a lot of flowers in the future. You can have any flowers you want, as long as you wake up. Don't die, please. Don't scare me. Yu Yang pressed twice and found that it was soft and couldn't bear the force. He quickly increased his strength. While pressing, he shouted at City Mistress Fallen Flowers, hoping to wake her up. After pressing a few dozen times, City Mistress Fallen Flowers' heart didn't respond. He did another round of CPR and CPR, but she still didn't improve. Her heart and breathing were completely gone. Yu Yang found that her heart had stopped for too long, and his hands were trembling. He remembered that the knowledge he had learned before mentioned that the brain had insufficient oxygen supply. In a state of hypoxia for more than 10 minutes, it would cause irreversible damage. Don't die. Please, can't you be a little stronger? Yu Yang tried to use true qi to stimulate City Mistress Fallen Flowers' heart, but it only nourished the heart's vitality, and it didn't beat strongly. Yu Yang was about to go crazy. Why didn't the stimulation of innate true qi work? Was he really going to despair now? No, City Mistress Fallen Flowers must not die. There's nothing I can't do. I can definitely save you. I can definitely do it. Yu Yang took out the dragon-slaying dagger and tore the front of City Mistress Fallen Flowers' clothes with one hand, preparing to cut a bloody hole on her snow-white chest. Reach in and massage the heart in her chest. Two flawless jade-like breasts popped out from the torn clothes. The snow mound was round, and the red plum blossom was slightly blooming. It was pink and peerless. However, Yu Yang didn't have time to care about this at this time. His mind was only focused on saving people. As long as she could live, Yu Yang was willing to bear all the notoriety. What big pervert! As long as she could live, she could call him whatever she wanted. As long as she could live, he didn't care about anything. She must live. In order to snatch City Mistress Fallen Flowers back from the hands of the god of death, Yu Yang was so anxious that his eyes were red, and his mind was almost out of control. A hand reached out and blocked Yu Yang's wrist. It was Princess Sisai. Princess Sisai saw Yu Yang holding the dragon-slaying dagger and exclaimed, "What are you doing?" Yu Yang said anxiously, "I'm not killing her. I'm saving her. I'm saving her. Do you understand? I'm going to cut open her chest and massage her heart. Fallen Flowers already has no heartbeat, and she's not breathing. You have to do artificial respiration. She can't die. I definitely won't let her die like this. All right, do you know how to summon a beast to release electricity? Just a weak one. Don't overdo it. I only have one summoned beast, and that's my guardian beast." Princess Sisai was shocked by Yu Yang's craziness and said, "Electrocute? Cut open her chest? Are you sure this is the way to save her? Electrocute her heart. This can make her heart beat again." Yu Yang couldn't explain to Princess Sisai, nor did he have the time to explain. But before Princess Sisai could finish, Yu Yang picked up the dragon-slaying dagger again. Without electrocute, he could only open her chest and do a heart massage. If he delayed any longer, City Mistress Fallen Flowers wouldn't be able to be saved. She definitely couldn't die, He definitely couldn't watch her die like this. Princess Sisai grabbed Yu Yang's wrist tightly and shouted anxiously, "Idiot, idiot, she's faking her death, resting in peace to reduce the damage to her body. It's not what you think, you idiot, don't open her chest." When Yu Yang heard this, his original anxiety, horror, and madness turned into a burst of surprise. It turned out that City Mistress Fallen Flowers was just faking her death, and her life wasn't really in danger. Although Yu Yang didn't know much about faking her death, he only knew that some beasts had this special skill, but he immediately felt relieved. He looked at Princess Sisai excitedly and asked in surprise, "Really?" When Princess Sisai nodded seriously, Yu Yang immediately felt a burst of relief and ecstasy. He was so happy that the world was spinning. His whole body relaxed and fell on the stone floor. He was so touched that he closed his eyes. "So she didn't die. That's great. You idiot." Princess Sisai was angry and amused at the same time, but when she saw Yu Yang's relaxed expression after being anxious, she was moved again. Although this brat was a bit stupid and liked to lie, his heart was sincere. He really wanted to save her. It's just that his method was too embarrassing. When she thought of him using the dragon-slaying dagger to cut open City Mistress Fallen Flowers' chest to massage her heart, Princess Sisai didn't know what to say to him. In the end, she reached out her hand and caressed his chest. She used a gentle tone that she had never heard before to comfort him. "It's okay. Don't be nervous. Everyone will take care of themselves." At the end, Princess Sisai suddenly felt that she couldn't treat this brat too well. She fiercely punched him. "Idiot! I've never seen an idiot like you, and I've never heard of such a boring method of cutting a hole in the chest to massage the heart. Are you killing people or saving people? You did it on purpose, didn't you?" Yu Yang also realized that he was in big trouble this time. He was so scared that he turned over and ran away. He waved his hands repeatedly. "There really is such a way to save people. It's not my own invention. I really didn't mean it. I just wanted to save people." When he saw that Princess Sisai was about to go crazy, he quickly ran out of the Heaven's Line cave. Looking at his fleeing figure, Princess Sisai suddenly smiled. She gently covered the chest of City Mistress of Fallen Flowers who was pretending to be dead, and said very softly, "He seems to be really worried about you." 10 minutes later, Princess Sisai carried City Mistress of Fallen Flowers out of the Heaven's Line cave. Yu Yang gathered his courage and stretched out his hand to feel the pulse of City Mistress of Fallen Flowers' carotid artery. He found that it was weak, but it had not disappeared. In his heart, he was sure that City Mistress of Fallen Flowers' body was fine. At the same time, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief and explained to Princess Sisai, "I really didn't mean it just now. Maybe my method of saving people was wrong, but there really is such a method. Anyway, I didn't mean to tear her clothes. It's useless to explain. I'm sure you're a big pervert and a siscon." Princess Sisai snorted lightly. "Gosh, it's fine if you say I'm a big pervert, but I'm really not a siscon." Yu Yang felt that he was wronged. Why did she say that? Then why do you have Bing's clothes? Princess Sisai glared at him with her tiger-like eyes. "Didn't we come here to train previously? I was afraid that she wouldn't have any clothes to change into, so I bought it for her." Yu Yang felt that he was a good brother. Did he have to be criticized for this? "How do you know what kind of underwear she wears?" Princess Sisai asked. Yu Yang was speechless. He couldn't say that it was because he had been educated in some Japanese action movie. He had done a lot of research on women's bodies, and as long as he saw it, he would be able to estimate it accurately. For a girl like Yu Bing who had not developed much, it would be strange if he bought the wrong underwear. Yu Yang couldn't defend himself, so he could only softly deny, "I'm really not a siscon. Can you say it even more guiltily?" Princess Sisai found that she really liked to see him like this because his expression was really interesting. She had to use all her strength not to laugh. Chapter 181. Returning to the lakeside of Tianchi Lake, Yu Yang was shocked to find out that Hui Tai Lang had regressed from silver-ranked level 4 to bronze-ranked level 3. Hui Tai Lang, who originally had 2 heads, had now become 1. Its entire body was covered with wounds, looking like it was on the verge of death. Other people's beasts would become more ferocious the more they fought, and their levels would rise higher and higher. However, it had directly dropped from silver-ranked to bronze-ranked. In front of Grey Wolf was the giant Xingmeng. From the looks of it, giant Xingmeng fled here and fought with Grey Wolf. In the end, this powerful mountain breaker demon was tragically killed by Grey Wolf. Was it this Xingmeng who beat you up like this? Yu Yang was a little surprised. It didn't seem like it. Grey Wolf's body was riddled with scars, new wounds on top of the old. It seemed to have fought more than once. Furthermore, he had clearly instructed it to protect the three-tailed snow fox at the foot of the mountain. What did it sneak up? When Yu Yang saw that the three-tailed snow fox wasn't around, he hurriedly asked Grey Wolf, "Where's City Lord Fallen Flowers' snow fox?" Hearing Yu Yang ask about the three-tailed snow fox, Grey Wolf lowered its head in shame. Yu Yang broke out in a cold sweat. Could it be that the three-tailed snow fox had died? This time it was really over. When the City Lord Fallen Flowers woke up, how was he going to explain this to her? Grey Wolf limped to the front of Yu Yang. It was prepared to receive a furious beating from Yu Yang. Looking at its pitiful appearance, Yu Yang's heart softened and he put down his fist. "You're just a wolf. I shouldn't ask you to do better. It's already good enough that you're still alive." Yu Yang extended his hand and sent some vital energy into Grey Wolf's body, helping it to quickly recover from its injuries. This moved Grey Wolf greatly, and he almost howled to the sky to express his gratitude to his master. As Yu Yang transferred his innate qi to Grey Wolf, he suddenly had a new discovery. He discovered that there were golden and white runic diagrams faintly appearing on his hands. Could it be that this was a phenomenon unique to innate level 1? Yu Yang was confused. The most miraculous thing was that the runic circle on his arm could rotate freely, changing its shape and changing its runes from time to time. Yu Yang was dumbfounded, unable to understand what it meant for a long time. What was even stranger was that Yu Yang knew that these runic circles had a special effect of strengthening his innate qi. After strengthening his innate qi with the runic circles, the healing effect would increase by at least 10 times. Grey Wolf's body and mind felt extremely comfortable, and he couldn't help but howl. A dark golden rune appeared on its forehead, and the rune formation on Yu Yang's arm began to change in its eyes. A burst of golden light was emitted from its body. This phenomenon gave Yu Yang a huge fright. In the end, he was astonished to discover that Grey Wolf could transform. It could even hide its true strength. Yu Yang was puzzled. Grey Wolf had actually leveled up to gold-ranked level 5, but its appearance looked like a bronze-ranked level 3. If it wasn't for the healing effect of the runic circle, he wouldn't have been able to tell. If even his level 3 divine vision couldn't tell, Yu Yang reckoned that if it was a normal warrior, they wouldn't be able to tell that Grey Wolf was a gold-ranked level 5 demon wolf. Could it be that Grey Wolf had become crafty after following him for a long time, so it learned how to disguise itself? What's up with this dog? Princess Sisai, the royal swordswoman, was also very curious. However, she wasn't curious about Grey Wolf's transformation, but the rune on Grey Wolf's forehead. Princess Sisai knew that Grey Wolf was at the foot of the mountain, so it shouldn't be able to obtain the rune. It hadn't even signed a contract with Yu Yang, so how could it have the summoning rune? Yu Yang thought that Princess Sisai was talking about Grey Wolf's transformation from bronze-ranked level 3 to gold-ranked level 5, so he explained, "I'm not too sure either." However, Grey Wolf was originally a silver-ranked level 4. Maybe it had some kind of breakthrough and became gold-ranked level 5. I guess that it had learnt some kind of skill, so it could hide itself to be bronze-ranked level 3. I don't know the exact situation. Grey Wolf can't speak, so there's no way to know the truth for now. Hearing this, Princess Sisai sweated profusely. Idiot, high-level beasts with intelligence would always hide their strength. The higher their intelligence, the better they would be at hiding their strength. What's so strange about that? However, this big dog of yours, it's not that it knows how to hide its strength. It's those runes that are secretly helping it to hide its strength. Ah, there are runes. Grey Wolf, have you been contracted by someone? Yu Yang was shocked. Wolf. Grey Wolf hurriedly denied it and put on a loyal look. You can't even differentiate between a contract And a rune? The one on its forehead is a summoning rune that was left behind from the ancient times. It's just like a beast. It can help its owner increase their strength. Don't you also have an ancient rune on your body? Princess Sisai felt that Yu Yong should have studied in the academy for 100 years. Otherwise, he would become a big joke. Hey, don't compare me to it. No matter what, I'm still its owner. Yu Yong felt that if he compared himself to Grey Wolf, it would be easy to misunderstand him as a big pervert. It's a stupid dog. You're a pervert. You're the same kind of trash. As expected, Princess Sisai had categorized Yu Yong as a pervert. Yu Yong pitifully squatted in a corner and drew circles, looking very dejected. With this kind of vigilance and defense, it wouldn't be easy for him to push down this royal swordswoman. According to what Mr. Chu Yuan had said, the road ahead is long. I will search from top to bottom. Yu Yong thought to himself, when will it become her breasts are big and alluring? I will search from top to bottom. This was too difficult. However, picking up girls was a skill. Other than the right time, the right place, and the right people, it also required a bit of skill. Yu Yong didn't believe that if he used the 36 tactics to pick up girls and 108 ways to pick up girls, he wouldn't be able to take down this Princess Sisai, who had the eyes of a pervert. So what if she was a princess? Princesses were born into this world to be pushed down by him. Yu Yong thought in his fantasies. From afar, a shadow flashed. Yu Yong saw a ray of silver light coming towards him at an extremely fast speed. It was as fast as a comet streaking across the sky. Even with his level 3 divine vision, he almost couldn't see clearly what was approaching. In an instant, it had already shot in front of Yu Yong. The silver light went from an extremely fast speed to an extremely still state in less than a second. Yu Yong looked carefully and realized that it was City Mistress Fallen Flowers' three-tailed snow fox. So it hadn't died yet. Yu Yong happily picked up this little thing. Just as he was about to throw it into the air to cheer, he suddenly felt his hands become light. The three-tailed snow fox had already arrived on Princess Sisai's back. It rushed towards City Mistress Fallen Flowers and used its small tail to gently brush its master's face. It looked extremely gentle and intimate. Hui Tai Lang hurriedly tried to learn this kind of technique to please its master. It also ran to Yu Yang's side and used its big tail to sweep the ice and snow. You're looking for death. Yu Yong couldn't stand it anymore and kicked it 10 meters away. Woof! Hui Tai Lang finally understood that it was fated to be beaten. It didn't have the natural conditions to be intimate with its master. Furthermore, this tail that was harder than an iron broom was indeed uncomfortable when it swept its master's body. Compared to the soft little tail of the snow fox, the difference was like heaven and earth. Hui Tai Lang hurriedly lowered its head in shame and pretended to be obedient. At night, City Mistress Fallen Flowers finally woke up. The three-tailed snow fox brought its master a bouquet of flowers that had bloomed on a high cliff. City Mistress Fallen Flowers happily stroked its little head, feeling extremely happy. When Hui Tai Lang saw this, it realized that it also knew how to please its master. It searched for a long time, but couldn't find any flowers. It only found a very loose dog's tail grass and excitedly brought it back to Yu Yong. Yu Yong was furious and immediately shouted, "Scram! Scram further away from me!" Only then did Hui Tai Lang understand that its master was not interested in flowers and grass at all. He was different from the three-tailed snow fox's master. Seeing its actions, Princess Sisai laughed so hard that she bent over. She gave Yu Yong a thumbs up, like master, like dog, that's right. Yu Yong was angry when he heard this. Tigress, what did you say? Princess Sisai laughed out loud. Nothing, I just said that your dog is very smart. Maybe it's not far from evolving into a holy beast. If you bring it to the 12 zodiac palaces to clear the trial and obtain the wisdom bestowed by the ancient code, maybe it will evolve into a holy beast, the 12 zodiac palaces? Yu Yang's heart palpitated when he heard this. City Mistress Fallen Flowers and Princess Sisai had leveled up their grimoire since they were young. Their own levels and titles were also very high. They had already surpassed level 5 a few years ago, but he hadn't. He, who wasn't used to summoning his grimoire to battle, was only a level 2 brave man. If he could clear all the 12 zodiac palaces, not only Hui Tai Lang, even the thorny flower demoness would probably become a holy beast. As for the Bloody Queen, Yu Yang wasn't worried about her anymore. The Bloody Queen could already speak. Even if she wasn't a holy beast, she wasn't far from it. Yu Yang's goal was to nurture the Bloody Queen into a holy beast that could contract a grimoire. I'm exhausted from this trip. I need to go back and rest well. But I've gained quite a lot. City Mistress Fallen Flowers took out a stalk of starlight, serene indigo grass from the jade box and put it into another smaller jade box. She then gently stuffed it into Yu Yang's arms. She looked at Yu Yang with a gaze that made Yu Yang want to transform and howl like a wolf. Although she didn't say it out loud, that gaze was very gentle. When Yu Yang went to the Tianqi to take a bath and check if there were any Tianqi water monsters, Princess Sisai told City Mistress Fallen Flowers about Yu Yang saving her previously. It was because she heard about Yu Yang's clumsy act of saving her that City Mistress Fallen Flowers' eyes gradually brightened, revealing a trace of gentleness when she looked at him. "You want to kiss me goodbye? No need to look at me." Princess Sisai turned her head and pretended to give Yu Yang and City Mistress Fallen Flowers a chance to kiss goodbye. "Qian, you..." City Mistress Fallen Flowers was extremely embarrassed, her cheeks turning red. Yu Yang actually wanted to kiss this Fallen Flowers girl in his heart. If it wasn't for Princess Sisai causing trouble at the side, he still wanted to take advantage of the good atmosphere and push down this Fallen Flowers girl. But now that she said it, everything was over. He couldn't eat the noodles, nor could he drink the soup. Towards Princess Sisai, this royal swordswoman who only knew how to destroy things, Yu Yang was extremely annoyed. He really wanted to kick her into the Tianqi City. Mistress Fallen Flowers seemed to want to hug Yu Yang to express her gratitude, but after hearing Princess Sisai's words, she felt embarrassed. Opening a teleportation scroll, she waved her lily-white hands towards Yu Yang. "I'm leaving." Yu Yang's heart was about to break into pieces. The original goodbye kiss was ruined by Princess Sisai's words. She must have done it on purpose. No, after City Mistress Fallen Flowers left, he must kiss her 100 times to make up for it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to take it lying down. Before entering the teleportation gate, City Mistress Fallen Flowers suddenly stretched out her hand, her lily-white fingers caressing Yu Yang's lips. There was a feeling of electricity that immediately spread throughout Yu Yang's body. His heartbeat sped up by 300 beats. His wolf blood instantly boiled, almost causing Yu Yang to howl towards the sky. Friction could indeed produce electricity. Yu Yang discovered that his entire body felt like it was being electrocuted. It was both uncomfortable and comfortable. There was an indescribable, wonderful feeling in his heart. In any case, it was extremely comfortable, as if he was suffocating in happiness. Isn't it just touching your lips with your fingers? Look at how useless you are. Come, come, this princess will bestow you even more friction, even more than my fingers. When Princess Qian saw Yu Yang's face full of happiness, her heart was especially sour. She took off her shoes and raised her flawless little foot, preparing to give this brat's face a flying kick. She wanted to see if he would still dare to show that kind of pig brother's happy expression in front of her. "Ah, I already knew that you were up to no good." Yu Yang's eyes and hands were sharp as he grabbed onto Princess Sisai's ankle that was flying towards him. He used his strength to lift her up, preparing to press her against the mountain wall and take liberties with her. Who would have thought that Yu Bing's clothes, which originally didn't fit on Princess Sisai's body, will be torn open with a rip sound when Yu Yang used his strength to lift her up, revealing a large piece of snow-white skin. Both of them didn't expect this and were stunned. Yu Yang and Princess Sisai looked at each other for a long time, not knowing what to do. Chapter 182. After a while, Yu Yang finally reacted. He turned his head away from Princess Sisai's face, afraid that she would feel awkward. He comforted her. "Actually, I didn't see anything." Princess Sisai really wanted to bite this despicable fellow to death. After staring for a long time, his eyeballs were about to fall out, yet he still said that he didn't see anything. "You really didn't see anything?" Princess Sisai was a little flustered. This brat's gaze was a little unbearable. She hurriedly retracted her long legs from Yu Yang's shoulders. It was so dark that I really didn't see anything. Yu Yang hurriedly defended himself. What? Princess Sisai felt that his words were too ambiguous. What dark? He was really spouting nonsense. I didn't mean it that way. I was saying that there wasn't enough light. Actually, I couldn't see anything clearly at first glance. Furthermore, your legs were so white and dazzling. I really didn't see anything clearly just now. Yu Yang replied, trying to hide his intentions. What did you say? Princess Sisai screamed crazily. I really didn't see it clearly. I didn't even see that you were wearing a white lace underwear. Before Yu Yang could finish speaking, Princess Sisai had already pounced on him like a little tigress, pinning Yu Yang to the ground. She opened her small white teeth and bit down on Yu Yang's shoulder. Yu Yang was in pain, but his wolf-like blood was boiling. With a flip of his body, he pressed Princess Qian under his body. Just as he was about to stretch out his wolf-like hands to skin this royal swordswoman into a little lamb, and then carry out the legendary push. Ouch! Unexpectedly, Yu Yang was too impatient and used too much strength. He flipped over and pressed down on Princess Qian's body. At the same time that Princess Qian cried out in pain, the snow and ice below them couldn't bear the weight of both of them. With a crashing sound, the two of them fell into the heaven lake involuntarily. Because a certain wolf's actions weren't gentle enough and used too much strength, the layer of ice shattered. The push failed. Princess Sisai really wanted to kill Yu Yang. Not only did her, but hurt from being thrown by him. Her ribs were also almost broken by him. In the end, she even fell into the lake to take a cold bath. He had never seen such a perverted and savage fellow. I still have a set of Yu Bing's clothes. Put on, don't catch a cold. After Yu Yang pulled Princess Sisai out of the water, he hurriedly fawned over her. Secretly, he had experienced failure before. It seemed that if he wanted to push her down successfully, he really couldn't be too rough. What was he so anxious about? It was such a good opportunity just now. Maybe if he didn't push her down, this tigress would have taken the initiative to push him down. Now that everything was ruined, she even had the heart to kill him. What a waste of an opportunity. I hate people like you. Princess Sisai originally wanted to leave in a huff, but thinking that she would return home drenched and but naked, it would be even worse if other people knew about it. She could only take the clothes with hatred and scold Yu Yang angrily in embarrassment. Yu Yang hurriedly expressed his apologies and patted his chest, promising, Tigress, don't be angry. I will take responsibility for you. When Princess Qian heard this, she almost fell headfirst into the heaven lake. Who wanted him to take responsibility? He wanted to take responsibility? Wouldn't that be letting him off too easily? Princess Sisai really wanted to cry in her heart. When Princess Sisai came out after changing her clothes, she discovered that this brat's upper body was bare, that he was roasting fish with a small pile of firewood. She really wanted to pick him up and roast him like a fish. However, when he passed the fragrant roasted fish to her, Princess Sisai realized that she was really a little hungry. She didn't stand on ceremony and decided to eat until she was full first, then settle the score with him. This matter must never be mentioned to anyone in the future, especially to fallen flowers. If she finds out about this, I will kill you to silence you. Princess Sisai first gave a gag order. She had no other choice. If she wanted to beat him up, she couldn't beat this brat up. If she wanted to scold him, this brat's skin was thicker than the city walls. What could she do to him? Princess Sisai was sulking in her heart, but she couldn't flare up. If she didn't pounce on him and bite him just now, arousing his beastly nature, this probably wouldn't have happened. But unfortunately, he wasn't the only one at fault. She seemed to be a little too. Princess Sisai sighed in her heart. All the men in the world were scared half to death when they saw her. Why was this brat not afraid of her? Could it be that this brat was her nemesis in life? When she thought of this, Princess Sisai couldn't help but raise her small fist and hit Yu Yang's body twice. It's fine if you hit me just now, but what's the meaning of these two punches? Yu Yang was puzzled. Why did Tigress suddenly hit him? This is interest. Princess Sisai immediately rolled her eyes at him. Did he even need a reason to hit him? Where is the interest from? Is it interest from looking or touching? Yu Yang was very serious, just like a banker, insisting on figuring out the origin of the interest. What interest from touching? Did you touch me just now? Princess Sisai was puzzled when she heard this. Why didn't she feel anything? No, I wanted to touch but didn't have the chance. I don't mind paying the bill, or even paying the interest first before touching. Yu Yang answered very sincerely. When Sisai heard this, she was immediately shocked and hurriedly retreated. She thought that it would be best not to let this wolf get the chance. When Yu Yang pounced on her, she quickly retaliated and sent Yu Yang flying into the sky with a punch. Before she could be proud of herself, she fell down next to the bonfire with a paw sound. This fall was not a big deal, but when she tried to prop herself up with her left hand, it was stuck in the burning charcoal. It was so painful that she jumped up with a sound, holding her small hand and shaking it. Yu Yang felt that his blissful sexual life was cursed by someone. He hadn't even started to enjoy it when he was hit by ice and fire. He hurriedly suppressed his lust and grabbed Princess Sisai's hand, using some innate qi to heal her injuries. Actually, to a martial artist like Princess Qian, this small burn was simply a trivial matter. She would recover almost instantly. However, she enjoyed Yu Yang's gentleness. She pretended to be unhappy, but in her heart, she happily watched as he nervously healed her injuries. She even pouted at him coquettishly, "I don't need you to care about me. Let go." Yu Yang thought that today might not be an auspicious day, so he shouldn't push her down. Touching and pushing her down, he should wait for a suitable opportunity in the future. He didn't believe that a big soft bed wouldn't be able to push down this royal swordswoman. As long as Yu Yang thought of the spring scenery he saw just now, and the wonderful feeling he felt when he pressed down on Princess Sisai, he couldn't help but have an urge to boil his beast blood. "Pervert, wipe your saliva." Princess Sisai saw Yu Yang grabbing her hand and revealing a perverted look. She immediately fainted. She unfurled her scroll and prepared to leave. Suddenly, she turned around and stretched out her finger like city mistress fallen flowers. Could it be that she was going to caress his lips like city mistress fallen flowers? Yu Yang swallowed his saliva. It would be best if he could kiss her goodbye. If he kissed her until the sky darkened, then there would still be hope for him to push her down. Princess Sisai's finger seemed to want to caress Yu Yang's lips, gently rubbing his cheeks. Electricity flowed through his body again, and a warm current rose from his lower abdomen, turning into a raging flame. He almost exploded and turned into a super saiyan wolf. "Look at your perverted appearance." Princess Sisai pinched Yu Yang's face with her finger and burst into laughter. "In your dreams, do you think that I will kiss you goodbye like fallen flowers? Dream on." "Really?" Yu Yang hugged Princess Sisai with lightning speed and kissed her forcefully. Whether it was a dream or not, he had to do it first. Bang! Yu Yang's actions were too forceful again. His lips and nose collided with Princess Sisai's. Both of them bent over in pain. Yu Yang's first reaction was to sigh. Today, he was cursed. It was indeed not suitable to push her down. Princess Sisai pouted in pain. "I've seen idiots before, but I've never seen an idiot like you." "Pighead, idiot, I'm ignoring you." She stormed into the teleportation door and left. Yu Yang then realized that his body would often be in a state of losing control. Following his thoughts, his body would often unintentionally unleash strength that was close to an innate. This was different from usual, so it was out of his control and estimation. If it was a normal day, pushing her down and kissing her goodbye would probably go smoothly. Now, if he had to blame something, he could only blame Yu Yang for not being able to use the strength of an innate level 1 as he wished. This strength was hidden, but as long as Yu Yang made a move, it would be unleashed involuntarily. Although it wasn't as strong as an innate level 1, it was still much stronger than what Yu Yang was used to. Picking up girls and pushing them down is a skill. That's true. Yu Yang laughed out loud. Although he failed this time, he had actually succeeded half the time. Princess Sisai was almost pushed down. However, she didn't blame him for being lecherous, but blamed him for being rude. This proved that she liked him a little. He didn't succeed this time, but after today's incident, it shouldn't be difficult to push her down again. As long as he found a suitable time and place, with a good atmosphere and provocation, this rouge tigress wouldn't be able to run away. Yu Yang's mood improved. He grabbed Xingming's corpse and returned to the cave. He placed Xingming's, Gu Zhui's, and Duke Xian's corpses together and summoned the little thorny flower demoness. The little thorny flower demoness seemed to have grown a little more. The biggest change was that the vine that was holding on to her pink and tender but had disappeared. As soon as it was summoned, it ran around with great vigor. Originally, Yu Yang wanted to give her a set of clothes, but who knew that this little demoness didn't like to wear clothes and didn't know how to wear them. She clumsily wore her pants over her head. Yu Yang was sweating profusely when he saw this. He quickly helped her wear it, becoming a nanny for once. The secondary stock swallowed Xingming's and Gu Zhui's corpses. As for Duke Xian's corpse, even the secondary stock didn't seem to like it. The little demoness hesitated for a long time before finally summoning a spore. She let the spore parasitize Duke Xian's corpse, turning it into a level 3 giant thorny flower. It then extended its roots to connect with the secondary stock. Duke Xian's corpse could only grow a giant thorny flower? Yu Yang sweated profusely. No matter what, it's still a 1,000-year tortoise spirit. It took me a lot of effort to kill it. Even if it doesn't taste good, you can't waste it. Yu Yang almost wanted to smack this picky thorny flower demoness little butt. After staying in the cave for half a day, other than letting the little thorny flower demoness use up some of her excess energy. At the same time, Yu Yang also tried to control his innate level 1 strength. There was no problem in hiding it, and he could also release it freely. It was just that he would sometimes use it unconsciously, so he needed to strengthen his control. Yu Yang practiced for a while and summoned the Bloody Queen again. He taught her how to speak while he tried to find out the location of the mysterious treasure that she knew about. The Bloody Queen was still stuttering when she spoke. Her ability to express herself was completely lacking, and she couldn't give a proper explanation. Yu Yang gathered all the information he had and deduced that there was a teleportation circle in one of the secret passages in the space pavilion that led to a secret treasure trove. However, the monsters in the treasure trove were extremely strong. The Bloody Queen couldn't describe them, so she probably hadn't been there before. Only her mother had been there before. After completing all these, Yu Yang brought Hui Tai Lang, whose body was disguised as a bronze-ranked level 3, back to the academy. Grandma Wu Tung wasn't there. The old cunning fox wasn't in the academy either. Yi Kong, Fatty Hai, and the Li brothers had already followed the eagle-eyed Xia Houwei to train. Yu Yang decided to bring Yu Bing back home. He was prepared to create a scene in front of the entire Yu clan to let Yu Shuang successfully contract a grimoire and win back the 4th branch's dignity. Previously, his strength wasn't enough, and he didn't have enough understanding of the soaring Dragon Continent's world of rankers, so he couldn't show off to his heart's content. Now that he was already an innate level 1, if his first uncle Yu Shan, second uncle Yu Ling, or anyone else with ulterior motives dared to jump out and cause trouble, then don't blame him for being impolite. For 4th Mother, he must create the biggest miracle in the world and shock everyone. Looking at the majestic Yu clan castle, a smile appeared on Yu Yang's lips. Chapter 183. Returning to the Yu clan castle, Yu Yang couldn't find 4th Mother. Elder Yu Hai wasn't at home. The deer-riding 5th grandfather wasn't there either. The substitute clan master Yu Shan and second uncle Yu Ling were preparing for the 100-school elite competition in Shangjing. Even the eldest son Yu Tian and his nemesis Yu Yen had gone to Tong Tian Tower for their final training. In the entire Yu clan castle, other than a few elders and collateral elders who didn't go out, there was only a large group of servants. When Yu Bing asked around, she found out that her mother had returned to Whitestone City. Furthermore, after Yu Yang left with her, she had already gone back. Strange, didn't she want to stay behind to take care of 4th uncle? Yu Yang felt that something was wrong. Speaking of which, Yu Yang hadn't seen 4th uncle yet. He only knew that he was being taken care of by Miss Feng. As for how 4th Mother usually interacted with him, Yu Yang had never thought about it for her. Could it be that fourth mother was mistreated and returned to Whitestone City? Logically, that shouldn't be the case. Yu Yang and Yu Bing already had a certain level of strength. Even the substitute clan master Yu Shan and second uncle Yu Ling wouldn't dare to offend her easily. There was no reason for someone to provoke fourth mother. What was going on? Yu Yang was confused and couldn't understand. Fourth madam said that Miss Feng was taking care of fourth master, so she was at ease. She also said that the house in Whitestone City hadn't been closed for a long time, so she brought Uncle Nan and Aunt Sue back. Fourth master's illness seems to fluctuate. Miss Feng said that she would bring him to get some medicine so that he could recover quickly. I'm not sure about this. An external deacon quickly reported to Yu Yang, afraid that he would anger this abnormal third young master. The current Yu Yang wasn't the useless third young master of the past. Furthermore, the impression he gave to the servants was that he could kill people without batting an eye. One wrong move, and his head would fall to the ground. So this external deacon was especially cautious. If that's the case, then we'll go. Yu Yang understood a little. It wasn't that fourth mother didn't want to stay behind to take care of him, but Miss Feng had brought fourth uncle away. It seemed that fourth uncle was really poisoned. Yu Yang originally wanted to find out what kind of medicine Miss Feng had gone to get, but when he saw the external affairs deacon's confused look, he knew that he didn't know. Bringing along Yu Bing, Yu Yang went to the Yu clan village and teleported to Shangjing. He then teleported to the Red Cliff City and then to the Whitestone City. Although the process was complicated, it did not take too long. It was just that it was a little expensive. Yu Yang brought Yu Bing home excitedly. Compared to the Yu clan castle, Yu Yang still preferred the warm little home in Whitestone City. He had also walked out of this little home, so he had no feelings towards the Yu clan castle or the people inside. Only fourth mother, Yu Bing and Yu Shuang were Yu Yang's relatives. As for the others, Yu Yang would never acknowledge them as his relatives. At most, they were not strangers. As soon as he entered the house, Yu Yang smelled blood. His expression immediately changed as he rushed in. He discovered that there were bloodstains in the house. A few servants who were hiding in the cellar had died on the spot, their blood splashing everywhere. Among the pile of corpses, Yu Yang did not find fourth mother and Yu Shuang's corpses. He also did not find the old servant Uncle Nan and the quiet Aunt Sue. Only then did he calm down a little. Maybe fourth mother and Yu Shuang were captured by the murderer and were not killed. Yu Yang felt that his anger was about to explode. He almost lost control of his body. However, he clearly realized that if he lost control and went crazy now, it would be the most stupid thing to do. He had to get fourth mother and Yu Shuang back immediately. The fresh blood stains on the ground and the corpses that had not completely stiffened showed that they had not been killed for more than 24 hours. Yu Yang suppressed his anger and checked the livor mortis and corneas of the servants. He estimated that the servants had been killed for around 10 hours. Where did fourth mother go? Were they taken away by Uncle Nan, or were they captured by someone else? Who did this? How could they be so daring to lay their hands on the Yu clan and fourth mother? Was it a thief who broke into the house to rob, or a murderer with ulterior motives? Yu Yang felt that his mind was in a mess. He could not understand. Fourth mother had only returned home for a few days, and she had already met with such a disaster. This matter was really suspicious. However, because Yu Bing was trembling nonstop in fear, Yu Yang first made up a story to comfort her. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Fourth mother has already escaped. There are no corpses of fourth mother and Shuang Heir inside. We will immediately follow the clues to save them. Bing Heir, be good. Don't cry, don't cry. You must be strong. Let's go and get your mother back together. Yu Bing was so scared that she almost fainted. Her body was light and her legs were soft. She could not even walk anymore. She was so scared that her whole body was trembling nonstop. Yu Yang hurriedly carried her on his back and rushed towards the assassin guild. Vengeance hunt. He had to find out who the culprit was. Only then would he know the true whereabouts of fourth mother and Shuang Heir. Right now, he definitely couldn't delay the time to save them. Yu Yang's heart was filled with anger and anger. He really wanted to kill everyone in Whitestone City, but he also understood that the more it was at this time, the more calm he had to be. The reward was not his goal. Yu Yang's main goal was to find out who broke into the house and killed people. In the end, the name of the murderer made him extremely stunned. He had heard of this name before, but he did not pay much attention to it. This name was Chang Dao. When he killed Tai Kuang, Yu Yang had heard the big-breasted tavern lady mention the names Xiehua and Chang Dao. Wu Yi and Xiehua were both killed by Yu Yang in the Merry Forest. After that, Yu Yang went to Tong Tian Tower to look for Yu Bing, then brought his sister and fourth mother to the Yu clan castle. He had indeed missed out on killing Chang Dao. However, how could Chang Dao know that he was the murderer who killed Tai Kuang, Wu Yi, and Xiehua? Why would he break into the house and kill people and kidnap fourth mother and the little girl? Could it be that there was someone instructing him from behind the scenes? Yu Yang recalled the big-breasted tavern lady's introduction. This person's blade is very fast. He could kill more than 10 people with a wave of his hand, even when he was sitting and drinking wine without moving his body. Normally, this person would not come to Whitestone City very often and would appear and disappear unpredictably. However, this Chang Dao has a very obvious characteristic. That is, the right hand holding the blade is much bigger than the left hand. I estimate that the right hand is at least twice as big as the left hand. Chang Dao. As long as he could find Chang Dao, Yu Yang summoned his silver grimoire and searched for traces of Chang Dao on the Bloodrose map. On the Bloodrose map, the Bloodrose dagger and Chang Dao's name quickly marked out an area. That place was not Whitestone City, but the Starved Dog Ridge that was more than 100 kilometers away from here. The Starved Dog Ridge belonged to one of the mountain ranges of the Cloud Mist Mountain. Because it looked like the spine of a skinny dog, the mountain terrain was dangerous and it was rarely visited by people. In addition, there were many wild dogs roaming around, so the mercenaries called it the Starved Dog Ridge. This was a place where even mountain bandits would find it hard to survive. Inside the ridge, other than the steep cliffs that could not be climbed, there were also many valleys of different sizes. It was said that an extremely tragic war had broken out in the Starved Dog Ridge. Tens of thousands of people died at the foot of the Starved Dog Ridge. In the valley, there were still piles of white bones. Even after the soldiers died, they could not be reincarnated and became resentful spirits. The Starved Dog Ridge was an extremely famous haunted place. Why would this Chang Dao come to this kind of place? Could it be that he was the one who captured fourth mother and the little girl and brought them to the Starved Dog Ridge? Yu Yang suppressed the suspicions in his heart and comforted the trembling Yu Bing softly. Don't be afraid. Fourth mother was not harmed. I found the culprit. His name is Chang Dao. He is Xiehua's accomplice. I think he was the one who captured fourth mother in Shuang Air. Fourth mother should be somewhere in the Starved Dog Ridge. I will go and save her immediately. You're not in a good state right now. Why don't you go back to the academy and wait for my good news? Don't worry. I will definitely bring fourth mother and Shuang Air back safe and sound. No, brother, I want to go too. Yu Bing grabbed onto Yu Yang's shoulders tightly, not willing to let go. She was even more unwilling to get off his back. Then you must listen to me obediently and stop crying. Only by not alerting the enemy can we save fourth mother and Shuang Air. Yu Yang felt pity for his little sister who had a hard life and fourth mother who had died a hard death. This disaster was caused by him. If someone wanted to find someone, they should find him. How could he let them suffer? Yu Yang suppressed the anger in his heart and comforted Yu Bing softly. Yu Bing tried her best not to cry. She did not want to be a burden to her brother. However, she was unable to control the fear and sorrow in her heart. She sobbed and wiped her tears, looking at her trembling hands, looking at her helpless expression and pale face. Yu Yang swore in his heart that he would save fourth mother even if he had to kill his way into the 18th level of hell. If fourth mother and the little girl were to lose even a single hair, Yu Yang decided to kill everyone related to them to avenge them. He would not stop even if he became a demon who killed people like scything flax. Of course, if he could save fourth mother, Yu Yang would not hesitate to pay any price. Hui Tai Lang, go. Yu Yang gave Hui Tai Lang a kick and signaled him to follow the smell and lead the way. Teleporting from the Whitestone City to the Black Forest City was closer to the Starved Dog Ridge. However, the Star Dog Ridge was too big. If the vengeful Bloodflower map was not in the city, it would not point to a specific location. Therefore, although the teleportation was closer, he could not find the exact target. That would waste too much time saving people. It was better to let Hui Tai Lang follow the smell and track them. If it really did not work, he could teleport to the Black Forest City and change the route to the Starved Dog Ridge. Furthermore, letting Hui Tai Lang lead the way had another advantage. It would mainly smell Fourth Mother and the little girl's smell. If its target was not in the direction of the Starved Dog Ridge, it meant that they had not fallen into Chong Dao's hands. It would not be too late to go to the Starved Dog Ridge to kill Chong Dao after finding Fourth Mother and the little girl. Hui Tai Lang was like an arrow leading the way in front of them. Their destination was the Starved Dog Ridge. Yu Yang suppressed his anger that was about to go out of control. He carried Yu Bing on his back and chased after Hui Tai Lang, crazily flying out of the city. When the sky darkened, the White Stone City was preparing to close the city gate. Yu Yang had nowhere to vent his anger. Seeing that the city gate was blocking his way, he immediately roared angrily, "Those who block my way shall die." His voice was like thunder exploding in the sky. Yu Yang flew up like a dragon, piercing through the sky. He punched the city gate fiercely. Instantly, the huge city gate exploded into millions of splinters of wood. The huge shock wave caused the guards on the city wall to fall to the ground. Only when Yu Yang rushed out of the city gate like a hurricane and disappeared into the darkness did the guards stand up, trembling. They looked at each other in dismay. They still did not know what had happened. The White Stone City Master was sitting at home, leisurely drinking tea. Suddenly, he heard a deafening sound. His hands trembled and the tea splashed on his luxurious clothes. When his subordinates hurriedly came to report, he frowned. What is going on? In a White Stone City, who would smash the city gate for no reason? Besides, other than me, only Master Golden Blade has this kind of ability. This is really strange. Wait, there's another person. Could it be that something happened to that brat? Heavens, please don't. The White Stone City Master did not bother to order his subordinates anymore. He personally took action. He directly soared into the sky, leaped over the high walls, swept over the roofs, and flew away. By the time he landed in Yu Yang's courtyard, Master Golden Blade had already arrived one step ahead of him. Master Golden Blade's face was incomparably solemn. Disaster has come knocking. The Yu clan servants were all killed. The fourth mistress and the children are missing. This is big trouble. The White Stone City Master trembled when he heard this. Who would be so daring? This is impossible. Who would dare to touch the Yu clan's people? Besides, the fourth mistress had only returned a few days ago. Even if she was a burglar, she wouldn't be that accurate. Could it be that this was premeditated? It's over. This matter has really pierced through the heavens. If it was for the Yu clan, then it would be fine. I'm afraid that it was for the Hua sisters. That would really be a disaster. Master Golden Blade's voice was extremely bitter. How could it be? There shouldn't be anyone who knows the fourth mistress' identity. The White Stone City Master trembled when he heard this, his face dripping with sweat. Chapter 184. Yu Yang had never rushed like this in his entire life, but he didn't feel tired at all. Even if he carried Yu Bing on his back and sprinted along the mountain path for tens of kilometers, Yu Yang didn't feel anything. He could endure it in one breath. On the other hand, the anger and anxiety in his heart made him feel more and more uncomfortable. Nothing must happen to Fourth Mother and the little girl. Otherwise, Yu Yang thought that he would really become a murderous demon. Yu Bing started to lie on Yu Yang's back. When she saw that Yu Yang was exhausted and sweating profusely, she suppressed her sadness and got down from the ground, running together with her brother. However, she wasn't fast enough and couldn't keep up. Her small hands were pulled by Yu Yang, but she still had a hard time keeping up. In the end, Yu Yang summoned the Bloody Queen and let her carry Yu Bing. Although the Bloody Queen couldn't fly very fast, Yu Bing's weight wasn't that heavy. She could still keep up with Yu Yang's speed. When the Bloody Queen slowed down, Yu Yang would carry her on his back for a while. This long-distance running made Yu Yang realize that he still lacked a beast, which was a mount. He didn't need a mount normally, but he would need it when he needed it. After a few hours of nonstop running and searching for their scent, Hui Tai Lang brought Yu Yang and Yu Bing straight towards the Starved Dog Ridge. Just when the Starved Dog Ridge was in front of them, the sky was filled with dark clouds and it started to rain heavily. Hui Tai Lang's sense search gradually disappeared as it was washed away by the heavy rain. It lost its sense of direction and couldn't find Fourth Mother and the little girl anymore. "Brother, what should we do? What should we do?" Yu Bing cried bitterly as she hugged her brother tightly in the rain and cried loudly. "There must be a way. There must be a way." Yu Yang also hated this damn god, but he would never admit defeat. For Fourth Mother, he would never give in. Even if the opponent was the heavens, Yu Yang would fight to the end. This was not a battle. If he were to fight against the impatience, defeating her might not necessarily put his life in danger. Because if a person like her wanted to kill him, she wouldn't need to waste so much effort. She could have killed him in an instant long ago. It was precisely because Yu Yang knew that the impatience would not kill him that he temporarily gave up fighting and conserved his strength. That way, he would still have a future. However, if he gave up on saving Fourth Mother, then their lives would be in danger. Therefore, no matter what, he couldn't give up. Furthermore, he had to save Fourth Mother and the little girl. They could only win this battle. They could not lose. The smell had disappeared, and the traces of Fourth Mother and the others had also disappeared. What should he do now? Yu Yang turned around a few times and summoned Little Wan Li. Little Wan Li, can you understand what I mean? What I mean is, treat this tracking as a part of your battle. Use your battle instincts to find Fourth Mother and Little Schwanger, do you understand? We will follow your battle instincts and find Fourth Mother. If that doesn't work, then we will have to search for that Changdao. However, I hope to find Fourth Mother first. I saw traces of a horse carriage on the road, and it was very deep. Someone must have saved her. Maybe it was Uncle Nan or Aunt Sue, but I dare say that someone must have saved Fourth Mother. Yu Yang's words were also meant to comfort Yu Bing, because it was also possible that Changdao had kidnapped Fourth Mother and left on a horse carriage. However, he still tried to let Little Wan Li understand and let her use her battle instincts to find Fourth Mother. Try to sense it. Use your natural instinct. Think carefully about where they are, then point us in a direction. Do you understand? Yes, yes. Little Wan Li seemed to understand, but the direction she pointed was towards Whitestone City. No, that's not right. I know that Fourth Mother's house is in Whitestone City, but Fourth Mother has already been captured. Captured? Do you understand? We must find her. Find Fourth Mother and Little Schwanger. Try to sense it. Carefully sense it. Where is Fourth Mother? Yu Yang felt that if he couldn't find Little Wan Li, then he should quickly enter his dream and ask the Heavenly Sword Goddess. No matter what, he must find Fourth Mother. Little Wan Li's fingers still pointed towards the direction of Whitestone City stubbornly. Heavens, no, that's Whitestone City. We just came from there. We're going to the Starved Dog Ridge. Do you see the mountain in front of us? Fourth Mother should be inside. Sense it carefully and see where she is. Yu Yang was really anxious. Little Wan Li closed her eyes and sensed for a long time. Her fingers still pointed towards Whitestone City. What should we do? Brother? What should we do? Yu Bing was in a dilemma. Hui Tai Lang led the way to the Starved Dog Ridge, but Little Wan Li felt that Fourth Mother and the others were still in Whitestone City. Is she really in Whitestone City? Or is she on the way? Is it far? Yu Yang was also in a dilemma. His rationality told him that it was best to believe in Hui Tai Lang. After all, he didn't make any mistakes along the way. However, Little Wan Li definitely wouldn't cause trouble for Yu Yang at this moment. She had always been very obedient, and her battle sense was extremely strong. Her judgment was extremely accurate. Yu Yang felt that he should believe in Little Wan Li even more. However, if he turned back, he might make a huge mistake. Yu Yang stomped his feet and made a decision to bring Yu Bing back to the academy. He decided to ask the old fox to go to the Starved Dog Ridge to save Fourth Mother. It would be best if he could catch Changdao. He himself would use a teleportation scroll to return to Whitestone City. If Fourth Mother was still hiding in Whitestone City, it would be perfect for him to return. Yu Bing was at a loss. When she heard what Yu Yang said, she naturally agreed with Yu Yang's idea. When the old fox wasn't in the academy, Yu Yang almost went crazy. He was so angry that he even smashed the old fox's house. In the end, he thought that if he couldn't find the vice principal, the principal would also be fine. Anyway, he just needed to find an expert to help him. Yu Yang hurriedly brought Yu Bing and rushed towards the small building where the principal's office was located. Strange formations, stone pillars, as well as all kinds of flowers, grasses, and trees that were trimmed to the point that they looked like a maze were blocking Yu Yang's way. If it was any other time, it wouldn't be difficult to walk through. However, Yu Yang didn't have the time to take a detour now. He couldn't care about anything else. He exploded with his power and directly destroyed everything. He forcefully barged into the building and destroyed the entire outer area of the small building. When he was rushing up the stairs to the second floor, he realized that the gravity increased by a lot with every step he took. When he reached the second floor, the gravity had increased by almost 10 times. Yu Yang was shocked. It seemed that this principle was really not simple. However, Yu Yang didn't care too much. Since he couldn't push the door open, he took out his Hui Ji magic blade and directly cut the door into pieces. However, it was as if he had entered a mirage. He still couldn't enter the door. It was as if there was an invisible barrier protecting the room on the second floor. Is it so hard to meet the principal? Yu Yang was furious. He prepared to release his innate power and destroy this barrier. Just as he raised his Hui Jin magic blade madly and prepared to release his innate power to break open the space, a soft and sweet-sounding voice suddenly sounded from inside. "Student Titan, do you need something from me?" Yu Yang felt the pressure disappear. His whole body couldn't help but fall forward and finally fell onto the floor with a thud. He raised his head and saw a skinny and weak girl leaning on the table, copying something. Her long black hair hung down like a waterfall, covering half of her face. Yu Yang could only see her neat bangs. Because of the angle, he couldn't see her face. However, from her snow-white skin and her small, jade-like hands, Yu Yang could feel that her temperament was different from others. She was like a serene white orchid, noble and pure. She exuded a unique scholarly aura and tranquil indifference, making her look as pure as a fairy from a painting that didn't eat the food of the mortal world. "You're the principal." Yu Yang had heard that the Ivy Academy's principal was a beauty that none of the students had seen before. However, he didn't expect her to be so young. She was practically the school's beauty, or a bookworm with good grades. With her personality and hobbies, she was a bit similar to the mysterious beauty who read books anytime and anywhere. However, her voice and hairstyle were a bit different. Otherwise, Yu Yang would have suspected that they were the same person. Yu Yang didn't have the heart of a wolf right now. He only wanted to save people. He hurriedly explained his purpose to the principal who was copying on the table. "My fourth mother and sister were captured. Following their scent, they were at the Star Dog Ridge. However, we encountered a heavy rain on the way, so the trail was cut off. I tried to use my telepathy to show my fourth mother and Whitestone City. I'm here to ask for your help. I hope that you can lend me a hand. No matter if you go to Whitestone City or Star Dog Ridge, I hope that you can lend me a hand and split up with me to save people. The old fox, no, the vice principal isn't here. Grandma Wu-Tung and Teacher Hawkeye aren't here. I can only come to you. I hope that you can help me. As long as you can help me save Fourth Mother, I will definitely do anything you want me to do next time. I understand. After I raise my hand, call out to your fourth mother and sister sincerely. I have the telepathy inherent skill. I need you to use your telepathy inherent skill to confirm their location." The beautiful principal who was bending over the table slowly raised her hand. Her hand was as soft as an orchid, white and flawless. Her voice was soft and transmitted into Yu Yang's ears. "Start calling out now. The more sincerely you call out, the more accurate the response will be." Fourth Mother. Yu Yang didn't know whether it would work or not, but he was willing to believe in the principal's inherent skill and shouted loudly. Waves of light appeared on the beautiful principal's palm. Immediately, it turned into countless images. Yu Yang saw that in front of a horse carriage, Uncle Nan and Aunt Sue were pushing Fourth Mother onto the carriage. Before he could see it clearly, The image had already disappeared. The beautiful principal suddenly coughed lightly. Your heart is not calm enough. You need to maintain an empty state and sincerely call out again. My inherent skill can only be used 3 times in a month. Don't waste any more chances. Okay. Fourth mother, Shuang. Yang tried his best to calm himself down. He remembered that fourth mother had taken care of him in every possible way. He tried his best to dispel the distracting thoughts in his heart and only thought of fourth mother wholeheartedly. When he shouted out, the entire space shook. It was as if there was a formless shockwave that spread out soundlessly. The light in the beautiful principal's hand shattered. Immediately after, it reformed and turned into more images. There were 2 horse carriages running together on the road. One turned in the direction of Red Rock City, while the other fled towards Black Forest City. The image flashed, and the horse carriage that was escaping towards Red Rock City stopped. Fourth mother, who was wearing commoner's clothes, got off the carriage hurriedly. There were 2 women who looked familiar to Yu Yang, but he couldn't remember where he had seen them before. They supported fourth mother and walked to a small bridge. They boarded a bamboo raft and left while the horse carriage continued to move forward. Yu Yang suddenly realized that fourth mother did not escape towards Star Dog Ridge. Instead, she went to Red Rock City and got off the carriage halfway. The smell that Hui Tai Lang smelled was that Uncle Nan and Aunt Sue had purposely used clothes to lure the enemy. It was probably because they were afraid that the enemy would follow their scent. I'm not sure yet. Shout out again. This is your last chance. The beautiful principal coughed painfully. It seemed that this kind of spiritual call had a huge impact on her body. Fourth mother, Yu Yang shouted out loudly. His head buzzed, as if something had ruthlessly hammered his soul. Countless images broke apart and rushed into Yu Yang's mind. Not only could he see it with his eyes, even Yu Yang's mind had the same image reflected. The beautiful principal's hand formed even more mystical images. He could clearly see that there were enemies chasing after them. Furthermore, it wasn't just one, there were more than 10 of them. Some of them were even experts. They easily caught up and ruthlessly killed everyone in the horse carriage. Some enemies continued to move forward. Some enemies went against the current. Some enemies went down with the current. They split up and chased after them. On the other side of the image, Uncle Nan and Aunt Sue, as well as the woman disguised as fourth mother, were all captured. Finally, Yu Yang saw a shadow in the sky pouncing towards the bamboo raft. Other than seeing fourth mother's frightened expression, he seemed to have heard the little girl Yu Shuang's terrified scream. Brother. Yu Yang's whole body trembled as he sweated profusely. Outside the window, Yu Bing was anxiously waiting and calling for him. If she didn't call for him, Yu Yang wouldn't have been able to escape from the illusion of telepathy. I can sense that fourth mother has been captured not too long ago. A woman who can fly has caught her, and that woman is flying towards the direction of the Starved Dog Ridge. You should quickly go to the Starved Dog Ridge to save her. I will go and save your sister. She should still be in Whitestone City. The person your fourth mother is hugging is not your sister at all, because she did not respond to your call. The beautiful principal waved her hand, and Yu Yang felt an oppressive feeling as if he had been shot out of the window. Are you all right? Yu Yang saw the beautiful principal lying on the table. He couldn't see her face, but she seemed to be in great pain. At the same time, drops of blood dripped on her clothes, splashing bright red on her pure white clothes. It was like a blossoming plum. It was a ghastly sight. The beautiful principal waved her hand and said with a vague voice, "This is an old illness of mine. It's not a big deal. I will leave after resting for a while. You should quickly go and save your fourth mother." Yu Yang's heart was indescribably touched. This beautiful principal was not related to him at all, but she was willing to help him find fourth mother. She was even willing to use the telepathy inherent skill, even if her body was injured. Although he didn't know why she was willing to help him, maybe she was this kind to all her students, or maybe it was because of other reasons, but Yu Yang's actions really moved her at this moment. True feelings are revealed in times of crisis. When he needed help the most, she didn't ask any questions and just helped him find fourth mother. This kindness, he must repay her in the future. If her body was sick, No matter what kind of sickness it was, he must find the best medicine to cure her. If it wasn't for this sickly beauty, then Yong really wouldn't have any way to find out more about Fourth Mother. He wouldn't even know if Fourth Mother was alive or dead. Now, at least he knew that there was a woman who could fly that captured Fourth Mother. She brought Fourth Mother to the Starved Dog Ridge, and Fourth Mother hid that little girl Yu Shuang long ago. However, the little girl that Fourth Mother was carrying, who was that? Whose child was that? Who knew that the enemy would come to capture Fourth Mother, and especially when to save her? Those women seemed very familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen them before. Who were they? Yu Yang's heart was in a mess as he jumped down from the window. Yu Bing pounced on him and hugged her brother nervously. She looked at Yu Yang in fear, afraid that he would bring back bad news. Fourth Mother is fine now. Let's go and save her immediately. The principal promised to help us save our sister. The little girl is still hiding in Whitestone City. The principal will go and save the little girl. We only need to save Mother now, and everything will be fine. Yu Bing, don't cry. We must be strong. We cannot surrender to fate. We can win. We can definitely save Mother. We can definitely do it. Yu Yang carried Yu Bing on his back and opened a teleportation scroll. Yes, we can definitely save Mother. We can definitely, Mother. Yu Bing screamed excitedly with tears streaming down her face. Her voice resounded through the sky. Chapter 185. Wait, you guys are really here. The old cunning fox suddenly appeared not far away and shouted, I've been searching for you guys for a long time. Quick, help me save them. Yu Yang shouted and rushed over to grab the old cunning fox's collar and dragged him into the teleportation door. Stupid, stupid. Let go. We have already saved them. You are carrying your sister to save them. Aren't you just fooling around? The old cunning fox hurriedly pulled Yu Yang, this impulsive boy. Yu Yang and Yu Bing were stunned when they heard this. Fourth Mother was already saved? Could it be that the old cunning fox saved them? How did he know that Fourth Mother and the little girl were kidnapped? Nonsense. If I leave her behind. What if the enemy is still here and attacks Yu Bing again? You are not here. How can I leave her alone? Yu Yang did not think that leaving Yu Bing behind was a good idea. Although it was inconvenient to save them with her, it was better than leaving her behind. If he left Yu Bing behind, she would be frightened and easily let her imagination run wild. She would be easily attacked by the enemy. Yu Yang would not leave his sister behind no matter how tired he was. As for Fourth Mother, she was already saved. That was obviously the best news. Yu Yang and Yu Bing did not look into the process of saving Fourth Mother. They were overjoyed and hugged each other and cheered. After confirming again and again, Yu Yang realized that the old cunning fox was not lying. He immediately felt a wave of fatigue. He did not help at all, and even ran around for half a day. But no matter what, Fourth Mother was finally saved. The old cunning fox did not take the credit and waved his hand. I did not save her. It was His Majesty and Marshal Yu who brought people to rescue her. When I heard the news, she was already saved. I was only responsible for finding you too. The person who wanted to kidnap Fourth Mother was Thousand Goblin King's subordinate. He was very strong. Marshal Yu and General Feng Kuang were both slightly injured. Luckily, His Majesty was fine. Let's go. Your Fourth Mother is waiting for you. This time, it was really dangerous. If not for the State Grandmaster's reveal inherent skill, Thousand Goblin King would have succeeded. I didn't expect the Thousand Goblin King's power to be so great. When mentioning the Thousand Goblin King, the expression on the old fox's face became a little serious. Grandfather and General Feng Kuang are both injured? Who is this Thousand Goblin King? Yu Bing was shocked. In the Soaring Dragon Continent, Elder Yu Hai, who was a great elder, might not be the strongest ranker, but he was extremely famous. He was almost invincible on the battlefield. He had once fought against an army of 200,000 with 500 soldiers and defended a solitary city on a precipice for an entire month. Although it was a natural stronghold, this battle record of defending the isolated city to the death was something that the marshals and generals of the world could only look up to. It was precisely because of this battle that Elder Yu Hai was given the nickname Iron Wall Yu. That battle was the battle that made Elder Yuhai famous. After that battle, Elder Yuhai lost his left hand. However, Elder Yuhai did not retreat from the merciless battlefield just because he was injured. On the contrary, he shone brilliantly and became more and more powerful. He had fought more than 1,000 battles in his life. Other than a few battles with the demon abyss where he retreated due to the great disparity in strength, he had never lost a battle in his life. He was the most trusted marshal of the Xia Empire. As for Feng Kuang, there was no need to mention him. Although he was not as good at commanding troops as Elder Yuhai, he was more powerful than Feng Kuang. Just from his nickname, 10,000 Withered Bones, one could tell what kind of person Feng Kuang was. Whether it was the human soldiers of the soaring dragon continent or the demons and demons of the demon abyss, he had killed more than 10,000 people. That was why people gave him the nickname 10,000 Withered Bones. Even with Elder Yuhai, General Feng Kuang, and the Xia Emperor Jun Wu Yu's combined forces, they still managed to return after injuring 2 people. It could be seen how terrifying the enemy's strength was. However, he had never heard of the name Thousand Goblin King before. Who was he? Was he the demon king of the demon abyss, the Lich King? Or was he the nickname of a human rancor? Or was he the alias of some small country's king? When Yang thought of this, he couldn't help but frown slightly. Especially the old cunning fox's solemn expression, it made Yu Yang's heart tremble. A person that even the old cunning fox felt was troublesome to deal with. It seemed like he was definitely not simple. Thousand Goblin King is a terrifying demon. He was a human rancor 3,000 years ago. Because slaughtering was his second nature, and the techniques he cultivated were extremely evil, the warriors at that time joined hands to seal him. However, his followers had always been fanatically and firmly following Thousand Goblin King. It was passed down from generation to generation, accumulating their strength. Every once in a while, when they felt that they had the confidence to break the seal, they would launch an attack. Almost every 100 years, there would be a bloody battle to release Thousand Goblin King. The descendants of Thousand Goblin King's disciples worked together with the demon abyss and had a close relationship with the demonic palace. Their survival ability was very strong, and it was very difficult to eradicate them. Moreover, it was said that they had already reached the innate realm. Their hidden strength was very strong. In the past 100 years, more than 10 years ago, they had already tried to make a move but failed. Now, it seems like they're finally launching an attack. If we let these evil fanatics open the heaven stairway and find the resurrection heavenly crystal, then Thousand Goblin King will be able to break the seal and revive in this world. At that time, I'm afraid that the human world will become hell and blood will flow like a river. When the old cunning fox spoke, he glanced at Yu Bing intentionally or unintentionally. Yu Yang felt a little strange. The old cunning fox didn't say why Thousand Goblin King's disciples would attack Fourth Mother, but he looked at Yu Bing instead. What was going on? Could it be that Fourth Mother had something to do with Thousand Goblin King, the great demon's unsealing and revival? Through the old cunning fox's teleportation gate, Yu Yang and Yu Bing arrived at a hall in the Imperial Palace and saw Fourth Mother, who had just survived a calamity. Fourth Mother looked like she still had a lingering fear in her heart. Her face was pale. Her whole body was wrapped in Jun Wu Yu's scholar's robe. Her bare arms, bare feet, and slightly protruding breasts all showed that she was not wearing any clothes underneath. Could it be that she had been bullied by a murderer? Yu Yang's heart suddenly jumped. He felt extremely uncomfortable and extremely angry. When Fourth Mother saw Yu Bing pouncing towards her, she immediately opened her arms and hugged her daughter tightly, crying loudly. "Mom!" Yu Bing hugged her mother tightly, crying so hard that she almost couldn't catch her breath. Sigh. Elder Yuhai couldn't help but sigh lightly. He turned his face away as he couldn't bear to watch this scene anymore. Fortunately, the rescue was made in time, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. Little Yu Yang, this is not your fault. Instead, it is our negligence. Thousand Goblin King's subordinates are extremely cunning. They had actually buried a chess piece in the Yu clan. When we found out that something was wrong, they had already made their move. Because of the incident with the fake elder Tian Suo in the medical center, Yu Yang's performance was outstanding. Therefore, General Feng Kuang had a very good impression of Yu Yang. He, who had always been a quiet person, took the initiative to tell Yu Yang about what had happened. Those few tavern girls are your people, right? They were extremely vigilant. Once they received the news, they immediately took action and rushed to rescue Fourth Mother. If it wasn't for them, Fourth Mother would have already lost her life. All of you should stay in the palace for a period of time. I don't dare to say about other places, but this palace should be relatively safe. Yu Yang knew that Jun Wuyu didn't have the airs of an emperor. However, he never thought that Jun Wuyu would take the initiative to go out of the palace to chase after the culprit and rescue Fourth Mother. Yu Yang had a good impression of this emperor. An old man with white hair and beard carried a little girl into the palace. The little girl was crying nonstop. When she saw Yu Yang, she immediately jumped down and threw herself into Yu Yang's embrace. When the little girl started to cry, she let out her voice and wailed without caring about anything else. Unlike Fourth Mother and Yu Bing, who were hugging each other and wiping their tears, she cried as loud as she could. Especially when she saw Yu Yang, she cried so hard that the entire palace almost collapsed. She cried out all the fear and grievances in her heart. Don't cry, little darling, don't cry. Yu Yang hurriedly coaxed her. My sweetheart, Shuang come quickly, let Mother hug you. Fourth Mother hurriedly let go of Yu Bing and snatched the little girl over to hug her. Brother Xiao San, who knew that the little girl would twist her body and refuse to let go of her little hands no matter what. She insisted on hugging Yu Yang and wouldn't let go no matter what. Everyone thought that the little girl was usually crazy playing with her brother. At this moment, even her mother couldn't do anything. Shuang Mother thought that I would never be able to see you again. Fourth Mother hugged Yu Yang in her arms and cried loudly. Woo! Yu Bing also threw herself over and hugged her brother and mother tightly, crying together. Fourth Mother, where were your clothes? When Yu Yang realized that Fourth Mother was hugging and crying together with the little girl, he had a strange feeling. She obviously didn't have any undergarments. Could it be that she was really raped by bad people? Cough, cough. Your Fourth Mother is fine. We arrived just in time. It's just that her clothes are torn. Feng Kuang stretched out his hand and lightly patted Yu Yang's shoulder. I have already killed the criminal who intended to commit murder for you. In this battle, it was all thanks to your few loyal and devoted subordinates. They protected the carriage until the very last moment. Only when they saw me save your Fourth Mother did they breathe their last breath in relief. Although they did not come from a good family background, I admire them very much. They can be said to be heroes among women. My subordinates? Yu Yang was stunned. When did he have any subordinates? A ball of doubt appeared in his heart, like a dark cloud covering the sun. He felt that something was wrong. However, he didn't know what was wrong. Was it the timing of the appearance of the 1,000 Goblin King's subordinates? Or was it their goal? Or was it the process of rescuing them? Even his own subordinates had an indescribable strangeness to them. Yu Yang felt that his mind was in a mess. He even felt a little dizzy. He couldn't think of the reason. His head hurt like hell. He couldn't help but close his eyes. He tried his best to use his innate qi to get rid of the dizziness and pain in his head. Who knew that when his innate qi reached his head, it made his head feel even more pain. It was as if there were countless needles piercing his brain. It was extremely uncomfortable, especially his eyes. The most vulnerable and sensitive eyes were pierced by the innate qi needles. Yu Yang suddenly understood something amidst the extreme pain. Innate invisible sword qi had a special state called open heaven's eyes. This open heaven's eyes was not that simple. It couldn't be opened just because he wanted to. He had to train to an extremely high level to be able to open it. Yu Yang didn't think that he could open it now. Although it was only the most basic level, it was still extremely rare. Most importantly, if this heaven's eyes was opened, it would definitely complement his divine vision inherent skill. It might even be able to combine the two into one and become a new ability. The first level of open heaven's eyes was naked eye connection. Accurately speaking, this most basic level was to increase the acuity of one's vision. It was not the true open heaven's eyes yet. This was just the beginning. Yu Yang covered his eyes and felt a golden light flashing in his eyes. In the end, it was as if something had burst out of his eyes, causing him to scream in pain. Everyone was shocked by him. Could it be that this brat couldn't control his temper and was going to flip out again? Elder Yu Hai and Feng Kuang looked at him nervously. The current Yu Yang was not the brat who had killed his way into the Yu clan castle that day. The current him had already improved by leaps and bounds. It wasn't something that could be easily stopped. Even Jun Wu Yu was a little vigilant towards Yu Yang's actions. If this brat went crazy, he was also prepared to stop him. He definitely couldn't let him destroy the Imperial Palace. What's wrong, Santa? Fourth Mother was shocked and took 2 steps back. She immediately went forward and asked with concern, I understand now. Fourth Mother, let's go home. I will pack up the things in the house and then move to a place where no one knows. Yu Yang hugged the little girl who was still sobbing in his arms tightly. This little thing didn't care about Yu Yang's reaction. She just hugged him and didn't let go. Go back. Fourth Mother is scared. Senator, why don't you go back and pack up before we move? Fourth Mother was still scared out of her wits. You guys don't go back. I will ask someone to send the things over. You guys can stay in the Imperial Palace. Jun Wu Yu thought that Yu Yang was going to flip out, but who knew that this brat just wanted to leave? He quickly urged him to stay. The Xia Imperial Palace doesn't have the same rules as other places, don't worry. Senator, let's stay here. Fourth Mother also quickly persuaded Yu Yang. Brother, Yu Bing knew that Yu Yang didn't like to receive other people's kindness. Furthermore, her mother had taught him to constantly strive to improve himself. Hence, she didn't object to it. She only felt that it was a bit impolite for His Majesty and grandfather to leave without saying thanks after saving her mother. Bing Heir, move away a bit. Here, carry the little girl and wait for me at the side. Yu Yang pulled down the little girl who refused to let go no matter what and stuffed her into Yu Bing's arms. The little girl wriggled a few times, but she didn't resist in the end. She only opened her little mouth and cried loudly, looking as if she was frightened by Yu Yang. Everyone felt strange. Why did this brat insist on persuading Fourth Mother to leave the Imperial Palace? San'er, I know you're very stubborn, but you have to listen to His Majesty and your grandfather. After all, you're still young. Fourth Mother wiped her tears. Don't say any more, you fake. I have suspected you since a long time ago, but I didn't have the ability to see through you just now. Now, I can see that there is a cunning female demon hidden in Fourth Mother's outer shell. Yu Yang took out his Hui Jin magic blade and pointed it at the stunned Fourth Mother, his killing intent exploding. His words shocked everyone present, including Jun Wu Yu, Elder Yu Hai, and Great General Feng Kuang. Even the white-haired state grandmaster frowned. The Fourth Mother that was rescued was actually a fake? This fake Fourth Mother was an enemy? If that was the case, then where was the real Fourth Mother? Yu Yang had just come in. How could he be so sure that Fourth Mother was a fake? San'er, don't joke around. I'm not a fake. I'm not. I'm your Fourth Mother. Fourth Mother saw the Hui Jin magic blade and trembled in fear. Stop pretending. You have too many flaws. Even if I didn't see through your disguise, I would still suspect that you're not a fake. Yu Yang stretched out 3 fingers. Firstly, I just received a revelation from the principal's soul cry. She told me that Fourth Mother had just been captured not too long ago, while you had been rescued for more than an hour. My Fourth Mother was captured on the bamboo raft, and you were rescued in front of the horse carriage. I can confirm this with General Feng Kuang's words. You're not my Fourth Mother. Second, Shuang Heir's reaction. No matter how clingy Shuang Heir is, she would never reject her mother's hug. Mother will always be her first choice. As for you, Shuang Heir doesn't have any natural reaction towards you. You look like a stranger, so I suspect you even more. Third, you don't look like Fourth Mother at all. Do you understand? You've only changed into her appearance, but you don't have her inner qualities. My Fourth Mother would definitely not wear another man's clothes. She would definitely not keep herself naked and only wear a coat. She is a chaste woman. If the enemy wanted to humiliate her, she would definitely bite her tongue and commit suicide at the first moment. She wouldn't drag out an ignoble existence. She is a good mother who is usually timid and calm when faced with big problems. Even if I fight until I'm covered in blood, even if the sky falls and the earth shatters, as long as Bing Air, Shuang Air and I are present, she is also a mother. She is also a great mother who holds up the sky for us. She would definitely not be moved easily like you, crying and shouting. At home, normally, she would definitely listen to my words because she thinks that I am the little man in the family. In front of everyone, she is my mother. She would definitely not allow me to be disrespectful to the elders. Furthermore, she would definitely not easily abandon that warm little home. If she really is fourth mother, unless you Bing and I are both willing to stay, she would definitely not stay in this palace. But you didn't even think about anything and decided to stay. You even pretended to persuade me. As for your appearance, there's no need to talk about it. You are a completely different woman. I can even see through the fake Princess Sisai who I'm not familiar with, let alone fourth mother who raised me up. How could I mistake her for someone else? Yu Yang shouted as he raised the ashes in his hand high up. Ha ha ha! The fake fourth mother suddenly changed her voice. A ball of black light flashed and enveloped her body like a fog. When the fog-like black light entered her body again, the fake fourth mother had already turned into another bewitching woman. She was much taller than fourth mother, even taller than Yu Yang by a head. Her voice was filled with bewitching charm. She pointed her sharp black fingernails at Yu Yang. Sect leader told me to be especially careful of you. I didn't pay much attention to it at that time. But looking at it now, it seems that sect leader wasn't lying. You, this child, are indeed a very difficult character to deal with. Jun Wuyu and Elder Yu Hai looked at each other. They seemed to know this woman, and their expressions gradually became serious. The white-haired state grandmaster smiled and said, I was guessing who it was. So it's the 100 Transformations Demon Elder. No wonder you managed to fool us. I always felt that something was wrong, but my reveal inherent skill didn't react at all. If it wasn't for little Yu Yang discovering it in time, we would have been fooled by you. The old cunning fox who had been silent all this while also nodded his head in agreement. That's right. It's really shameful. We are already so old, yet we can't even compare to a child. How shameful. Indeed, you disguised yourself very well. Furthermore, you purposely didn't wear any clothes so that we wouldn't dare to look at you indecently, so that we wouldn't get suspicious. Feng Kuang snorted angrily. Tell me now, where's the real fourth mother? Although the 100 Transformations Demon Elder is one of the 4 great demon elders of the Thousand Goblins sect, if you want to leave this place, you better think about your own strength first. You guys have the advantage in numbers. Of course, I can't defeat you guys. But if I want to leave, you guys can't make me stay. Other than the 2 old bastards who can keep up with me, you guys are not even worth a fart in my eyes. If it wasn't for the Ranker's agreement not to kill you emperors and not to disturb the country, I would have killed all of you elders and overlords long ago. Why are you acting so arrogant in front of me? No matter what, I am still a little innate. The 100 Transformations Demon Elder glanced at Feng Kuang disdainfully, as if she could completely ignore the old cunning fox and state grandmaster in her eyes. A little innate who relied on external help. Why are you so arrogant? Yu Yang was furious. He released his power layer by layer, raising his right hand, which was shining with runic circles, shining with rainbow lights, and flowing with spiritual chi. He strangled the 100 Transformations Demon Elder's throat and smashed her hard onto the ground. With a loud bang, the whole palace shook. At the same time that the 100 Transformations Demon Elder screamed, Yu Yang ruthlessly stepped on her towering chest, mercilessly and coldly. The 100 Transformations Demon Elder spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Elder Yu Hai, Jun Wu Yu, and Feng Kuang's jaws almost dropped to the ground. Even the old cunning fox and state grandmaster were dumbfounded. This brat killed the level 8 intermediate emperor minor in Nate realm. The 100 Transformations Demon Venerable? What kind of power did he need? Furthermore, even if he was an innate ranker, he wouldn't be able to defeat the 100 Transformations Demon Elder in one move, right? The 100 Transformations Demon Elder was a fierce person who had been famous for more than 200 years. 200 years ago, she was a witch who sucked all men's yang energy, a witch who made warriors tremble in fear. Was she really defeated by this brat in just one move? She couldn't even resist? This was really hard to believe. Tell me the whereabouts of my fourth mother immediately, and I will grant you death. Yu Yang increased the strength in his foot. The 100 Transformations Demon Elder's chest bones cracked, as if they were going to break at any time. Otherwise, you will wish you were dead. You are an innate. You are an innate. You can't kill me. According to the agreement between innate rankers are not allowed to attack those who are below the innate rank, especially killing them. I am an elder of the Thousand Goblins sect, the sect leader of the Thousand Goblins sect. I have participated in your agreement before. If the Thousand Goblins sect does not kill your people, you innate rankers also cannot kill our people. If you violate the agreement, it will be a world war. You will become the public enemy of all innate rankers. At that time, you will be consigned to eternal damnation. You definitely cannot kill me. Furthermore, you must let me go. The 100 Transformations Demon Elder screamed anxiously as she spat out blood. Innate, you're actually the 7th innate in Xia. State Grandmaster almost fainted. No wonder sect leader Ming Xin said that he was not older than 30. What did she mean by not older than 30? This brat was only 20 years old. You really hid this old man's identity from me. Elder Yuhai's entire body was trembling. He didn't expect that the innate who had shaken the whole nation was actually his own grandson. Furthermore, he was the one who had the most useless performance. His most outstanding son, Yu Qiu, was not even able to reach the innate realm. He didn't expect that his own grandson, who had endured for more than 10 years, had finally reached the innate realm that no one in the Yu clan had been able to reach in the past 1,000 years. He was the first young innate in the whole of the soaring dragon continent. A 20-year-old innate. He muttered, no wonder that girl Qian Qian looked at him differently. Oh no, this is going to ruin the seniority. Wouldn't I be one generation lower than Brother Hai? This is really messed up. Don't talk about the innate alliance agreement. I have never signed it before. I have never even heard of it. If I want to kill you, even 10,000 innates would be useless. Mother of Asterisker, you actually dared to change into fourth mother's appearance to trick me. If you don't want to talk, then fine, I will grant you the most miserable way to die. The more Yu Yang spoke, the angrier he got. He stomped heavily on the 100 Transformations Demon Elder's chest, breaking her ribs one by one. Chapter 186. A red double ring rotating teleportation gate appeared in the 100 Transformations Heavenly Venerable's right hand. Yu Yang was startled, thinking that she was trying to escape. He sneered, raised his right hand that was covered with mysterious runes, stretched out his body, and grabbed the 100 Transformations Heavenly Venerable, the demoness, by her throat, lifted her up, and threw her to the other side. Rumble. The entire palace shook again. The sound of the 100 Transformations Heavenly Venerable's body hitting the ground echoed for a long time. The white stone floor cracked like a spider web, extending outwards. When the old fox saw the appearance of the red double ring teleportation gate, he immediately brought Yu Bing and the little girl away. As for Jun Wu Yu, the state grandmaster, Elder Yu Hai and Feng Kuang, their faces were filled with wariness, as if they were worried that a strong enemy would come after hearing the news. Surprisingly, they did not stop the teleportation, nor did they destroy the red double ring rotating teleportation gate. The 100 Transformations Heavenly Venerable was very strong, but ever since Yu Yang officially reached innate level 1, he realized that he had the power to shake the heavens and shake the earth. Especially with the support of the runes and the giant shadow, his power was unimaginable. The level 7, Overlord, and level 8, Emperor, that he thought were very strong seemed to be not invincible. Under the effect of his terrifying strength and binding chains, inherent skill, Yu Yang, who had unsealed his strength, discovered that he could easily beat up a level 8 ranker. Aya, the 100 transformations, heavenly venerable, cried bitterly in her heart. She knew that her opponent was an innate, and her heart was filled with despair. No matter if the opponent was young or old, as long as he was an innate, she would not be able to defeat him. Of course, at first, she did not think that she did not even have the ability to escape. She felt that even if she could not defeat him, she could definitely escape from the Xia Palace. However, this brat in front of her made her give up the moment he made his move. This brat had a skill that could bind people. Forget about escaping. She could not even struggle to resist. Meeting such a pervert, she was really unlucky. Her only hope now was to hope that the innate alliance could bind him. Speak, or else you will regret living in this world. Yu Yang was extremely angry because Fourth Mother had fallen into the enemy's hands. He twisted the 100 transformations Demon Venerable's right hand. Starting from the fingers, one by one, he broke all the bones in her right hand, causing the 100 transformations Demon Venerable to be in unbearable pain. Of course, this was only the beginning. The real pain came from Yu Yang's Jinqi, which was flowing along the nerves of the broken bones, attacking upward. The 100 transformations Demon Venerable had never experienced this kind of soul-searching and bone-eroding pain in her entire life. Yu Yang would not show mercy just because his opponent was a woman. In his eyes, an enemy was an enemy, regardless of gender. Even if it was a perverted transvestite, he would still kill it without hesitation. Falling into your hands, I admit defeat, but I really don't know the whereabouts of your Fourth Mother. That's not my mission. That's the mission of 100 Wings and 100 Eyes. It has nothing to do with me. My mission was only to attract your attention and kidnap Yu Bing and Yu Xuan. I really don't know. The 100 transformations Demon Venerable was very stubborn at first, but she quickly realized that her persistence was meaningless in front of Yu Yang. This was because Yu Yang was prepared to break all the bones in her body and then take her down alive. When Yu Yang heard this, it didn't seem like she was lying. He raised his right hand and snorted. If that's the case, you can die now. Not being able to get any useful information from the 100 transformations Demon Venerable, plus the fact that he was in a hurry to save Fourth Mother, Yu Yang decided to give the 100 transformations Demon Venerable a blow and immediately set off. A voice came from behind Yu Yang. You are very arrogant, brat. If you don't know the rules of the innate alliance, then I can teach you. A big hand that was flashing with golden light reached out from behind and grabbed onto Yu Yang's raised wrist. It was fiercer than a thunderbolt and faster than lightning. Yu Yang's left fist carried the power of a thunderbolt as he punched back. When he attacked, he showed no mercy and used his full strength against his opponent. Boom! The dull sound of the collision made people feel like vomiting. Yu Yang was sent flying backwards by an irresistible force. He first broke a pillar, then crashed into a wall, and almost broke out of the wall before he managed to stop himself from bouncing back. The entire wall of the palace was sunken in deeply. The bricks were pushed backwards, and cracks spread all over the place like a snake. On the ground, there was also a deep and long drag mark. That was the result when Yu Yang tried to use his legs to stabilize himself. If he wasn't an innate, if he didn't use his full strength, he would have been sent flying out of the palace by his opponent. His opponent, a golden giant, also took 5 big steps back in a row. His footprints were deeply imprinted on the white stone floor. The golden giant was stepping on a brilliant halo, and his armor was shining with the golden brilliance of a gold-ranked excellent rank set. Under the spiral horned helmet, a golden mask covered the person's face. There was a huge sword at his waist and a cloak that fluttered in the wind. It was impossible to determine his identity. Only the silver moon double star emblem on his chest could determine his strength. The silver moon double star emblem indirectly showed that this person was at innate level 2. Behind the golden giant, there was a shadow that no one could see clearly. It seemed to be very blurry, but one could vaguely see that it was a human shape. If one didn't pay attention, they would think that this shadow was the golden giant's beast. In reality, Yu Yang realized that this faintly discernible shadow was the real terrifying enemy. Yu Yang couldn't see what realm this faintly discernible shadow was at, even with his level 3 divine vision and his naked eyes. However, he knew that the golden giant couldn't even compare to this faintly discernible shadow with a single hand. This difference should be the same as the difference in strength between him and the impatience. We salute you, your majesty Junwu Yu. We have no intention of intruding into your palace, and even more so, we have no intention of interfering with your political affairs. The faintly discernible shadow bowed slightly towards Junwu Yu and spoke with an indescribably strange voice. Regrettably, we have to do that. We can't just watch a ranker who is about to step into the ranks of innates be forcefully killed in your palace. Maybe she made a mistake, but according to the agreement between us innates and the other countries, we have the right to redeem our outstanding juniors. As long as there is hope of stepping into the ranks of innates, we have the right to protect them. So, please state your conditions. We will not disregard the ancient law and the emperor's dignity that was bestowed upon you by our ancestors. However, please understand our difficulties. Even if you declare war on Xia, I will not agree to release her. This is because this is not your innate's matter, but our soaring dragon continent's national matter. You innates can freely do whatever you like in the 6th floor of Tong Tian Tower and above. However, the soaring dragon continent has been protected by the ancient law since ancient times. Our national matters are not controlled by innates. You innate rankers cannot interfere with our decisions. Unless you declare war on us and kill us all, you cannot bring the 100 Transformations Demon Elder away. Junwu Yu was surprisingly unyielding. Even though he was only a level 7 overlord, he did not show any signs of weakness in front of an innate ranker. So long-winded. Do you think you can stop us from bringing her away? The golden giant sneered. He stomped his feet heavily and shook both his hands. A golden shockwave spread outward from his body. Junwu Yu, Elder Yu Hai, and Feng Kuang were all pushed back a few steps by the shockwave. The only one who did not move was the white-haired state grandmaster. When the golden giant bent down and was about to reach out to grab the 100 Transformations Demon Elder, a foot heavily stepped on her spine. It was Yu Yang. The golden giant's hand froze. He did not notice when Yu Yang, who was sent flying, came to his side. This unexpected action made him extremely angry. An innate level 2 ranker was actually forced by an innate level 1 brat in front of him without any reaction. Wasn't this a disgrace? Courting death. The golden giant slowly straightened his back and spat out these 2 words. Idiot. Yu Yang sneered in agreement, but his fist had already landed heavily on the golden giant's face. A loud boom resounded. The golden giant completely used his mask and face to resist Yu Yang's fist. He sneered, "You only have this little bit of strength?" Yu Yang's binding chains, inherent skill, and strength burst out at the same time. He punched the golden giant and sent him flying, crashing into the wall of the palace. When the golden giant fell to the ground, dizzy and disoriented, Yu Yang spat indifferently. "It's enough to deal with you. Roar, you're courting death." The golden giant jumped up angrily. He had never suffered such a grievance before. Clown. Yu Yang charged forward. His body flashed, and he appeared behind the golden giant. The golden giant had 100 ways to turn around and attack, but he could not move at all. He could only watch as Yu Yang used all his strength and landed a heavy blow on the back of his head. He was extremely angry and depressed as he flew out, crashing straight into the wall and finally breaking out. Not bad talent. The misty shadow praised. "Since you're already an innate, then I have a reason to kill you. Die." A black beam of light shot out from the misty shadow's finger. It had an extremely strong, penetrating power like a laser, but the thin beam of light was strangely black. Yu Yang dodged, wanting to dodge, but to his surprise, he found out that the black light of death could still turn. Just as he was about to use his sword chi to block it, an incomparably old and withered hand reached out from behind him. Facing the black light of death, the hand lightly grasped it, as if it was catching a black snake. The hand rubbed, and the black light disappeared without a trace. However, black smoke came out of the hands, and they became charred, as if they had been burned by a soldering iron. The smell of burnt skin spread out. Slowly, an ordinary old man walked out from behind Yu Yang and said calmly, "You're just a child. If you don't give an explanation for killing a child like this old man will take it that you're declaring war on the great Xia dynasty. Also, are the other friends who are here to watch the show interested in fighting with this old man? In terms of strength, this old man might not be able to compete with you. In terms of national strength, the great Xia dynasty is even more inferior. However, in terms of fighting, the men of the great Xia dynasty will never lose to others. Fight or retreat, it's up to you all." On the other side of Yu Yang, there was a tall and skinny old man. He looked gentle and refined, just like a scholar. He always had a polite smile on his face. However, his words did not sound like a scholar at all. Instead, he sounded like a fierce-looking butcher. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he snorted. "Are you trying to bully the great Xia dynasty? All of you, come on up. No matter if it's a one-on-one fight or a group fight, we'll fight you to the end. What innate alliance treaty? Isn't this bullshit? Just one sentence. Either you get lost or we'll start fighting. Can 1,000 goblins sect scare people? Can the demonic palace scare people? Do you think we're 3 years old kids?" The tall and skinny old man who looked gentle and spoke in a straightforward manner pressed on Yu Yang's shoulder with one hand, as if hinting Yu Yang not to speak first. "My 2 heavenly imperial guardians, please don't be angry. We have our reasons for this matter. No matter where we put it, they won't be able to reason with us." The state grandmaster smiled as he tried to persuade them. "Do you great Xia barbarians know how to reason with us? What a joke. What's your reason? In the great Xia palace, an innate wanted to kill a lesser innate. Not only did you not stop him, you even helped him secretly. What kind of reason is this? According to the innate alliance treaty, other than the heavenly imperial guardians, no one else can interfere with the development of the soaring dragon continent. They can't simply kill people, especially the younger generation with potential. If not, they would be the public enemy of the innate realm. You all had also signed this non-interference agreement. Now, you all go back on your words. You all pretend to be gentlemen on the surface, but behind our backs, you're doing something else. What's wrong with us saving people? Furthermore, we still respect your great Xia kingdom and wanted to redeem the 100 Transformations Demon Elder. You all forced us to do this. Is this also reasonable?" At this moment, a giant man with a silver mask appeared beside the misty shadow. He refuted the state grandmaster's words very clearly. "It's a good show to watch. Ha, don't mind us. We're just here to watch the show." A few red and black shadows appeared everywhere in the great hall. "We, the demonic palace, are neutral in this matter. However, we won't rule out the consequences of breaking the alliance treaty." A few other innate rankers who were emitting green, blue, and purple light appeared at the side of the great hall. 3 against 4 is not fair. The 1,000 Goblin sect only has 3 innates while the Xia kingdom has 4. I've decided to help the 1,000 Goblin sect. A man who looked like a demon walked to the misty shadow's side. He had a huge curved horn on his head, sharp claws, and a long tail. His body was burning with a strange black hell flame. He said that he would do anything for his friend. "Scram, you demon has no right to interfere in the matters of the soaring dragon continent." Jun Wuyu shouted. "Your Majesty Jun Wuyu, please don't be angry. I don't represent the demon abyss. As everyone knows, I've already made a clean break with the demon abyss. Although I'm not human, I prefer to live in the human world. If my looks are not good, or my identity is not to your liking, I'm sorry. Maybe you'll like an innate beauty from the elf tribe. Unfortunately, I'm not one. Ha ha." The demon innate rancor bowed slightly to Jun Wuyu. He didn't seem to care at all. Yu Yang wanted to say something. However, the tall and skinny heavenly imperial guardians wrote a few words on his back, telling him not to say anything for now. "Regarding our little titan wanting to kill the 100 Transformations Demon Elder, not only me, even your Majesty, the 2 heavenly imperial guardians, Marshal Yu, and General Feng Kuang felt that it was not wrong. The reason is very simple. Because the 100 Transformations Demon Elder wanted to kill his family, he had the right to kill the murderer who harmed his family. This is the same for all of you. Secondly, he had just become an innate. He had never signed the innate alliance contract before. He didn't even know who his introducer was. Maybe no one had told him about the innate alliance contract. That's why it was normal for him to kill the 100 Transformations Demon Elder. Let me ask you, how would a young man who had reached the innate realm know about the innate alliance contract without any introducer? If it wasn't because we captured the 100 Transformations Demon Elder today, we wouldn't even know that he was a new innate ranker. If you guys don't want to declare war on Xia, then please leave. If you want to break the innate alliance contract and declare war on Xia, then please don't be courteous. If you have the ability, kill all of us, including your majesty. We, Xia, have no grudges even if we die. We definitely believe in the strong. When the state grandmaster finished speaking, he waved his hand and a shockwave spread out from his hand. The golden giant who wanted to stride towards Yu Yang was pushed back 9 big steps by the state grandmaster. The 2 heavenly imperial guardians, Jun Wuyu, Elder Yu Hai, and Feng Kuang, walked out and stood together with the state grandmaster. They stood in front of Yu Yang, facing the many strong enemies together. Yu Yang was touched. He knew that if this battle really started, people like Jun Wuyu, Elder Yu Hai, and Feng Kuang would probably lose their lives. As for 3 innates against 4 innates, even if he joined them, they might not be able to win. The most terrifying thing was that there were still the demonic palace's innates eyeing them covetously. Once one side lost, they would probably hit them while they were down. This included those people who were watching the show. They would definitely not just watch from the sidelines. They would add fuel to the fire and plunder the spoils of war. Even though they knew that this battle was a lost battle, the unyielding attitude of Jun Wuyu and the Xia rankers still shook Yu Yang's heart. In the Celestial Empire on Earth, Yu Yang had seen a lot of friendly societies, friendly neighbors, separated by a strip of water, common development, and such things. Those spokespersons from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs only said empty words like strong condemnation, solemn protest, deep regret, and so on. They did not have the unyielding attitude of atomic bombs are just words from a few decades ago, and they did not have the imposing attitude of those who openly offend the strong will be punished no matter how far they are from 2,000 years ago. Now that he heard it, he realized that although the Xia kingdom that he did not really care about was not strong, their attitude was definitely awesome. If you want to fight, I'll fight. Even the emperor would risk his life. No wonder even the most powerful enemies would first pay their respects to Jun Wuyu. The reason was that this emperor was worthy of the respect of the strong, worthy of everyone's respect. He might not be the best emperor, but he was definitely the most unyielding, the most courageous and heroic emperor. If the emperor was not afraid of death, would the generals and soldiers be afraid of death? If the emperor dared to risk his life, would the generals, soldiers, and even the citizens not dare to risk their lives? Fight! Yu Yang's blood was boiling in his heart. His strength continued to increase, getting closer and closer to a berserk state. He was prepared to be the first to charge forward and kill that golden giant. He might not be able to kill other innates, but he could definitely fight against this golden giant whose strength was the closest to his. Yo, little fellow, you're being mischievous again? Causing trouble again? I've just returned home to take a bath, and you've already created such a big mess. It was unknown when impatience had appeared behind Yu Yang. Her jade-like arms wrapped around Yu Yang's shoulders and neck. Her cherry-red lips were also blowing a pink fragrance into his ears. Her voice was as soft as a lover acting coquettishly. Sky Law, you know him? Many innate rankers were very surprised. When they saw impatience appear behind Yu Yang and act so intimately, the expressions in their eyes became even more unpredictable. This is my little lover. If any of you hurt him, I want you to compensate me. Impatience giggled, as if she was telling the truth. Scram further away from me. Yu Yang was not in the mood to flirt with her. He did not manage to save Fourth Mother, and the appearance of this impatience was not a good thing. In the entire palace, Yu Yang estimated that there were 2 strongest innates. One was that blurry and illusory figure. That was the strongest enemy. The other was impatience. This girl was one of the three great sky demons of the demonic palace. She would definitely not help the Xia Empire's rankers. She might even cause trouble in the dark. Hence, her appearance had caused Yu Yang to be annoyed. He did not give her any face at all. Impatience pretended to be sad and wanted to cry. I'll just let you do that, and you're so cold to me. I'm so sad. Everyone's expression suddenly became a little enlightened. No wonder this brat was so powerful. He was actually Impatience's little lover. Of course, there were also people who were suspicious. Skylaw, is this true? An extremely handsome man from the demonic palace stood up and asked, "Please don't meddle in my private affairs, okay? Sky Dragon, if you want to meddle in other people's affairs, wait until you're ranked top 3. No, it's impossible for you to be ranked top 3. Wait until you're ranked top 5 before you talk to me again." Impatience berated this person mercilessly. She did not even look him in the eye. Okay. The extremely handsome man's face changed a little when he heard this. He clenched his fists tightly. His eyes shot out a light that was as sharp as a sword, as if it wanted to pierce through Yu Yang's heart. Thousand Goblins sect leader, please apologize to His Majesty solemnly and compensate the Xia in accordance with our wishes. Finally, explain clearly why you used the exterminating light on our little titan to silence him. Only then can you leave. Otherwise, we will start a war at all costs. The expression on the state grandmaster's face became serious. His identity and his words represented the will of the Xia kingdom. That was to never be bullied or humiliated. Even if they had to fight to the death, they would still defend their country's dignity. He is already an innate, and he forcefully stopped us from saving him. There's nothing wrong with sect leader killing him. You said that he doesn't know about the alliance treaty, but where's the proof? You said that he didn't have an introducer. He didn't have an introducer. How did he become an innate? The silver-masked giant retorted with a cold smile. Let me say a few words. This brat's innate was unintentionally triggered by me yesterday. As for who his introducer was, I don't know. Sect leader wanting to kill my little lover seems a little unreasonable. If I didn't hear wrongly, in the Soaring Dragon continent, innates are strictly forbidden to kill outstanding juniors, especially if it's a destructive attack. Sect leader, as a senior, didn't do a good job. I feel very uncomfortable hearing this. Sect leader, can you give me a reasonable explanation? Impatience pinched Yu Yang hard to stop him from speaking. This was not a battle of bravery. This was related to the balance of power in the entire Soaring Dragon continent and Tong Tian Tower. Is it really only 2 days? Becoming an innate just 2 days ago is already so strong? I don't believe it. This is definitely impossible. The silver giant couldn't believe it all. There's no place for you to speak here. If you interrupt again, I'll bring you to the 6th floor of Tong Tian Tower and kill you in front of everyone. Let's see who can save you then. Pay attention to your identity. In front of so many rankers, so many people didn't say anything, but you, the weakest fellow, kept talking. Don't you feel ashamed? I'm asking your Thousand Goblin sect leader, not you. A hint of disgust flashed past Impatience's face. The silver giant hurriedly retreated 2 steps and hid behind the faintly discernible shadow of the sect leader. He lowered his head and didn't say anything, but anger flashed past his eyes. Skylaw, can you not scare my people? No matter what, we are still in an alliance. The shadow-like sect leader said indifferently. The one who is in an alliance with you is the demonic palace, not me. Impatience smiled and said, don't use an alliance to pressure me. Even if you're a sky execution, don't even think about talking to me like this. It's fine if I don't care. Who asked this little sweetheart to be so cold to me? My little sweetheart, I'm heartbroken now. I don't care anymore. I'll just watch you get bullied by a bunch of bad guys. Who asked me to be a weak girl? I can't do anything even if I wanted to. A large group of people rolled their eyes when they heard this. She was considered a weak girl? If she was a weak girl, then there wouldn't be any rankers in this world. In the Soaring Dragon continent, no matter how you ranked her, she would definitely be ranked in the top 10. If she was a weak girl, then everyone wouldn't even want to live anymore. Of course, looking at her words, it seemed that she wanted Yu Yang to beg her. Everyone felt that there was still room for discussion. Although they had beaten him up, it seemed that it was impossible to pursue the matter. The sect leader brought his subordinate away and bowed to the Xia emperor. This matter was considered settled. If they wanted to pursue the matter to the end, the Xia Empire would definitely fight with all their might. It was still uncertain who this Sky Law would help in the end. If the rankers from Tianluo and Zijin heard the news and came over, the situation would probably change and move towards another unknown direction. Do you want to bully a child? I can't stand it. Tianluo, Xia, and Zijin are also in an alliance. If you touch Xia, it's the same as touching the three of us. How about I suggest, since you don't want to fight or apologize, then let's fight one-on-one. The stronger one will be respected, and the winner will be decided. If the Xia Empire's little innate wins, then you guys apologize and hand over the person. If you guys win, then we will return the 100 Transformations Demon Elder to you. This is the fairest battle. Sect Leader, if you don't agree, please don't blame me for helping Xia. Night Empress' voice suddenly sounded. It's the Night Empress. Many people were secretly shocked. She really came. If any innate ranker from Tianluo came, they wouldn't care as much as the Night Empress. This Night Empress was not someone to be trifled with. She was the same as Sky Law, the kind of rankers that could be ranked in the top 10. In fact, she could even be ranked in the top 5. Although the Night Empress did not say anything to help Yu Yang, as an innate ranker, no one was a fool. They knew that she was actually very protective of this kid. One-on-one was indeed the fairest, but this way, she would unknowingly help this kid who had just entered the innate realm to avoid punishment and death. Because in a one-on-one fight, no matter who went on stage, it was impossible to kill someone in front of everyone. This was because in the most critical moment, their own people would help them. At most, they would be defeated, but there was no real chance of killing the opponent. Now, many innate rankers wanted to kill this young man who had just entered the innate realm. Looking at the ancient rune circle on his body, if he was allowed to grow in the future, he would probably be another innate ranker who could squeeze into the top 10. So, no matter what, they had to think of a way to get rid of this kid. Good idea, let's do it this way. The faintly discernible shadow of the sect leader slightly hesitated. He gave up on sending the silver giant up and sent the stronger gold giant to fight against Yu Yang. Get angry. As long as you get angry, you will win. The opponent only has a hard shell. He is very easy to deal with. Impatience kissed Yu Yang's earlobe and gave him another idea. What are all of you doing here? Suddenly, a voice that was colder than ice rang out. Scram. All of you scram back to Tong Tian Tower. Those who do not abide by the alliance will be killed without mercy. Many of the innates were so scared that they trembled. Even the strongest sect leader hurriedly bowed slightly to show his respect. We have no intention to violate the innate alliance treaty. It's just that the Night Empress suggested a one-on-one supreme battle. The young man from the Xia Empire will fight against our 1,000 Goblins sect's demon, Lord Tucheng. That cold voice was like a cold current, blowing through the entire palace. With a single sentence, all the innates' hearts froze. Fight between the supreme warriors? Are you guys bullying him because he doesn't have an introducer? Let me tell you, his introducer is me. If you guys kill him, the 1,000 Goblins sect will be exterminated. If I don't want to be fair, you guys can find someone else. Before I leave, I will give you one last warning. If I find any of you appearing in the soaring dragon continent again, violating the innate alliance and interfering with the country's affairs, no matter who you are, I will kill you all without mercy. All the innates felt dizzy. They thought that they had picked up someone easy to bully, but who knew that they were almost scared to death. This brat was actually the introducer that she personally came to be. No wonder he was already an innate at such a young age. No wonder the Night Empress would protect him secretly. No wonder Sky Law would try so hard to tempt him. The sect leader, who was as elusive as a shadow, muttered to himself for a while. He bowed slightly to Jun Wuyu. To Xia Emperor, we will leave your palace and return to Tong Tian Tower. We will not interfere with anything anymore. I wish you all the best. What he meant was that he would not bring the 100 transformations demon lord away, but he would also not order his disciples to send forth Mother back. He would pretend that he did not see her and not care about her. On the surface, he was very polite and showed respect to Junwu Yu, the emperor. However, they had actually schemed against him. At the very least, his disciples had captured Fourth Mother, and there was no news of her until now. Brat, enter the dimension of duel. Don't think that you can defeat me just because you have a good introducer. The golden giant opened a teleportation scroll. Yu Yang was even more worried about Fourth Mother. He was not willing to fight now. However, a familiar voice suddenly came into his ears, calming him down. This voice made Yu Yang focus on the duel. She did not guarantee anything else, but Yu Yang believed that the owner of this voice would definitely protect Fourth Mother's safety on his behalf. Moreover, he also believed that she had the ability to do so. With her around, Yu Yang could definitely fight with peace of mind. Yu Yang wanted to defeat the Golden Giant, not only to save Fourth Mother, but also to fight for the Xia Empire's dignity. Wasn't it just a level 2 innate? Without batting an eyelid, Yu Yang walked into the dimension of duel with his head held high. Not only him, the Impatiens, the two heavenly imperial guardians of the Xia Empire, Junwu Yu, the State Grandmaster, Elder Yu Hai, Feng Kuang, and the others, as well as the innates from the other side, all entered the dimension of duel to watch the duel. This duel was very important. If the Xia Empire won this duel, they would rise again. If they lost, it would be the beginning of the Thousand Goblins sect's comeback. The Thousand Goblins sect had been hiding for many years. They had accumulated their strength for thousands of years, but they only had 3 innates. If the Golden Giant lost, it would be a huge blow to their comeback. Both sides could not lose. They had to win. 1-on-1, Supreme Warrior Duel. Impatiens volunteered to be the judge. She raised her hand up high. The Xia Empire's Yu Yang, Titan Yu Yang, will fight against the Thousand Goblins sect's city-slaughtering demon lord by Li Tu-chung. The duel will be decided no matter the time. No points, no pauses. No help is allowed until the loser dies in battle or until the loser kneels down and begs for mercy. If both sides have no objections, come out and fight. Countdown 3, 2, 1, the duel begins. When Impatiens waved her hand down, the Golden Giant had already flown out and charged towards the duel. At the same time, Yu Yang also flew into the air and charged towards the Golden Giant. Chapter 187. Innate Level 2 versus Innate Level 1. Although the difference was only 1 level, it was an insurmountable gap. Among the group of innate rankers, even the Thousand Goblins sect leader, who was the most cautious, did not think that Yu Yang, who had just become an innate 2 days ago, could defeat the experienced Tu-chung. One had not even mastered his innate strength, while the other had fought in the higher levels of Tong Tian Tower for many years. One was a young boy with insufficient skills, while the other was an outstanding innate with profound skills and excellent beasts. No matter how they compared, Yu Yang was far from the famous Tu-chung demon elder who had trained for more than 200 years. Even Junwu Yu, the State Grandmaster, Elder Yu Hai, and the others did not have 100% confidence in Yu Yang. They supported Yu Yang for 2 reasons. Firstly, it was the Night Empress' suggestion. The Night Empress would definitely not harm Yu Yang. Secondly, it was because of Sky Law's hint. Sky Law was the one who had inspired Yu Yang's potential and allowed him to become an innate. She should be the one who knew Yu Yang's strength the best. Since she did not object and even felt that Yu Yang could defeat Tu-chung, Junwu Yu and the others would not object. The thing that made Junwu Yu and the others feel the most at ease was that Yu Yang's introducer was her. That her was Yu Yang's introducer. Just this point alone filled the people who supported Yu Yang with confidence. Although he might not win, they believed that he would not lose either. In this battle, even if it ended in a draw, the 20-year-old Yu Yang would be able to defeat the famous Tu-chung who had been fighting for 200 years. It would be a significant victory for a level 1 innate to defeat a level 2 innate. Yu Yang was still young and had unlimited potential. On the other hand, the famous Tu-chung had already reached the peak of his strength. His potential had been dug out, and there was no possibility for him to improve anymore. Tu Cheng, who was leaping in midair, suddenly yelled out loudly just as Yu Yang was about to attack him. His body turned sluggish, and he pushed his hands outwards. A powerful shock wave exploded, and a golden halo spread out from his palms. It was as powerful as a big explosion, and it sent Yu Yang flying. Tu Cheng knew that Yu Yang had an innate ability to bind people. Previously, he had been careless, causing him to lose his bearings. Right now, he had already thought of a way to deal with Yu Yang, and that was to attack from mid-range. At a close range, Yu Yang's binding inherent skill was very powerful. However, such a powerful inherent skill could not be used endlessly, nor could it be used from a super long distance. Tu Cheng reckoned that Yu Yang's inherent skill could only be unleashed when it came into contact with his body or at a super close distance. Therefore, he decided not to give Yu Yang any chance, and directly used the shock wave to defeat his opponent from mid-range. Although he couldn't kill his opponent, he had 100 sinister ways to cripple him. One of them was to completely destroy his opponent's fighting spirit and attack his willpower. As long as this brat lost the heart of a strong warrior, he would become a coward who couldn't even lift his fist and trembled in fear. Then, no matter how much potential he had, it would all be in vain. Tu Cheng had seen many young geniuses, but they all became cowards and trash after a huge setback. Now, he wanted to destroy this arrogant brat. You want to become an innate ranker? Pay me some tuition fees first. Tu Cheng, who had detected a safe distance, was overjoyed. He flew behind Yu Yang and summoned his platinum grimoire the moment Yu Yang swung his fist. A shield of light rose up and sent Yu Yang flying. He was prepared to use an extremely precise and ingenious grimoire summon to make Yu Yang, who was completely unable to attack, feel despair. At the same time that Yu Yang was sent flying, Tu Cheng summoned a strengthening-type ancient giant beast that was as big as a small mountain. The golden ancient giant beast roared towards the sky and fused with Tu Cheng's body. Instantly, Tu Cheng's body became many times bigger. Now, Tu Cheng's body was at least 10 meters tall. One of his fingers was as big as Yu Yang's thigh. He could completely cover Yu Yang's entire body with his open palm. Summoning a strengthening-type ancient giant beast was not enough. Tu Cheng decided to use his strength to make Yu Yang feel inferior and hopeless, completely crushing his fighting spirit. The second summoned beast was summoned in a flash of golden light. This was a giant golden dragon. Yu Yang had seen wyverns before, but it was his first time seeing a giant dragon. Second reinforcement. Tu Cheng let out a loud roar, and the majestic golden dragon transformed into a burst of intense golden light, fusing with him. Giant dragon wings grew out from his back, his hands turned into dragon claws, and a dragon tail grew out from his back. This made Tu Cheng look like a giant humanoid dragon. The innates who were familiar with Tu Cheng knew that if the first strengthening of the ancient giant beast only increased his strength and size, then the second strengthening would increase his battle power by leaps and bounds. At the same time, the giant golden dragon's skills coercion, dragon's breath, and soar would be increased. With these three skills, Tu Cheng would definitely be undefeatable. His opponent's level, realm, skills, and beast were even more inferior. Just the skill coercion could already reduce his opponent's battle power by more than half. In addition to the dragon's breath, which was even more terrifying than hellfire and the ability to soar, the enemy would not be able to escape. This battle would be won even without a fight. Almost all the innates on the other side thought this way. Only Impatience, who stood out alone, had a mysterious smile on her face, as if she was mocking Tu Cheng's foolish action of wasting his energy. The handsome youth in the purple brocade robe from the demonic palace saw the smile on Impatience's face, and the hatred in his eyes towards Yu Yang deepened. However, he did not show it openly, just like a venomous snake that had hidden itself. Roar, I'll turn you into a roasted pig. Tu Cheng pounced towards Yu Yang. With a distance of 10 meters between them, He opened his huge mouth and spat out a wave of dragon's breath. Yu Yang did not retreat, but advanced instead, charging straight towards Tu Cheng. Yu Yang summoned his silver grimoire in an instant. A protective shield rose up, reflecting all the dragon's breath that was coming towards him. Everyone was stunned. This brat could actually summon his grimoire instantly? If it wasn't for the fact that his summoning grimoire was a silver grimoire, no one would have believed that he was just a 20-year-old brat. This instant grimoire's control skill was not something a young man could learn. Jun Wuyu and Elder Yu Hai were the most shocked. They knew that Yu Yang had actually just contracted a grimoire not long ago. It had only been half a year, but he had already learned how to summon his grimoire instantly, something that others might not be able to learn even after 20 years. It was not that they had never seen geniuses before, but they had never seen someone this terrifying, the difference between half a year and 20 years. Furthermore, someone who could learn it in 20 years was considered a genius. This really made people speechless. Thinking about how this brat had always behaved like a useless trash, Jun Wuyu and Elder Yu Hai were even more speechless. This brat was too good at pretending to be a useless trash. Tu Cheng, who originally wanted to burn Yu Yang in a charcoal, was hit in the face by his own dragon's breath. He cried out in pain. The other innates frowned when they saw this. This brat's timing was too good. Using his protective shield to reflect the dragon's breath, he would not be able to reach Tu Cheng if he was a meter away. But if he was a meter away, Tu Cheng would be bounced away. The distance was just right. If it was them, could they have done better? No one said the answer, but the answer in everyone's heart was the same. That was, I couldn't have done better. Windstorm. Even though Tu Cheng had been hit by his own dragon's breath, he was only in pain and not injured. He flew into a rage out of humiliation. His body and hands started spinning like a windmill, creating a tornado that revolved rapidly around the protective shield. The grimoire's protective shield was connected to its owner's mind. A small amount of damage would not affect its owner. However, long-term damage and tremors would affect the grimoire's owner. If it was a ranker below level 6 attacking the grimoire, even if it was continuously attacked for an hour, a bronze grimoire contractor of the lowest level probably would not be affected much. However, Tu Cheng was an innate. Although the power of his tornado might not be able to damage the protective shield, it would definitely affect Yu Yang's mind after a long time. In a battle between experts, even the slightest impact would cause one to be at a complete disadvantage. Yu Yang did not hide inside the protective shield and wait for the tornado to pass. Tu Cheng could create a tornado like this anytime he wanted. He immediately kept his grimoire and unexpectedly appeared behind Tu Cheng. He grabbed Tu Cheng, who was as tall as a small mountain, and lifted him up high. Then, he threw him into the center of the tornado. In an instant, Tu Cheng was swept up into the sky. Its teleportation and binding. The other innate ranker frowned again. There was nothing strange about an innate ranker mastering teleportation. However, this brat had just become an innate not even 2 days ago. How did he learn it? The strangest thing was, how did this brat teleport out of the protective shield? Before the protective shield disappeared, the grimoire contractor could walk out with their feet, but it was impossible for them to teleport out. Could it be that he had seen wrongly? Or could it be that this brat could instantly keep his grimoire and teleport out at the same time? The tornado disappeared, and Tu Cheng fell from the sky. His reaction was fast. When he was about to reach the ground, he spread his wings and landed steadily. Although he did not fall, he still felt that he had lost all his face. This brat had used the moves that he was most proud of to retaliate against him. This was even more humiliating and intolerable than fiercely slapping him in the face. Dragon's breath was reflected, and the tornado was used. The anger in Tu Cheng's heart had already reached its peak. He did not believe that with his innate level 2 strength, he would not be able to defeat this innate level 1 brat. He decided to use the most direct method, using his strongest strength and most brutal body to defeat his opponent. Could it be that this brat could reflect his fist back? Tu Cheng raised his huge fist and fiercely smashed it down on Yu Yang. With a loud bang, Yu Yang was sent flying 10 meters away. Tu Cheng was pleased. His binding chains inherent skill was not omnipotent, and he believed that he could only use it a limited number of times. Under his terrifying attack, this brat could only kneel and beg for mercy. When he thought of this brat kneeling in front of him and begging for mercy, Tu Cheng felt an indescribable satisfaction in his heart. The one who had the last laugh was the winner. "Brat, you are still too inexperienced." He raised his huge fist for the second time and smashed it down with all his might. Of course, his mouth was full of mockery. "Brat, did you not drink enough milk? Why do you only have so little strength?" Ha! The group of innate rankers on the other side all felt that there was no suspense in the outcome of a level 2 innate ranker against a level 1 innate. The difference was obvious. This was not something that could be made up for with skills. The faintly discernible Thousand Goblin sect leader had a bad premonition when he saw this. He looked at Junwu Yu and Elder Yu Hai. He realized that although their faces were a little anxious, they were still far from panicking. This proved that the new innate brat still had some strength left and could not be defeated easily. When he looked at Impatience again, his heart trembled even more. At this moment, the smile on Phoenix Fairy Beauty's face was even wider than before. Her expression was as if she had seen a tiger cub that didn't know how to hunt and had just caught a wild buffalo. She was continuously practicing her hunting skills, as if she couldn't bear to eat the prey in one go. A strange thought flashed through his mind. Before this, that brat was sent flying by Tu Cheng's punch. He was sent flying tens of meters away, smashing through a pillar and almost collapsing the wall. Now, Tu Cheng was doubly strengthened, and his strength had increased by more than 10 times. When he used his full strength to attack, this brat was only sent flying 10 meters away. What did this mean? It meant that this brat was continuously improving and becoming stronger during the battle. His strength had improved from being unable to withstand a single blow just now to the point where he could almost fight against Tu Cheng, who was doubly strengthened. If they continued to fight, Tu Cheng would continue to exhaust his strength, while this brat continued to improve. Under this situation, Tu Cheng, who was a level 2 innate, would most likely be defeated by his level 1 innate. This brat must have some kind of inherent skill that allowed him to learn and grow during battle. Otherwise, the Night Empress would not have suggested for him to fight against Tu Cheng in a one-on-one supreme battle. Sky Law would also not agree and would not stand out to be the judge. When the Thousand Goblin sect leader thought of this, he was extremely angry. He felt that he had been schemed against by the Night Empress and Sky Law. Most importantly, that Sky Law would also agree to this one-on-one supreme battle. This proved that this brat's inherent skill was not binding. This could be a special skill of some kind of beast. This brat's real inherent skill was definitely to learn and grow during battle. Boom! The Thousand Goblin sect leader saw that Yu Yang was still sent flying with the second punch. He carefully counted the number of steps that Yu Yang had retreated. Just now, it was 10 steps, which meant that he had retreated 10 meters. Now it was 9 steps, which meant that he had retreated 9 meters. Just now, Yu Yang's footsteps were so deep that they had broken the ground. Now the first 2 steps were still very deep, but the last 2 steps were obviously shallower. Brat, use all your strength. Huh, where did your power go? Tu Cheng was very powerful now. He felt that he could completely suppress his opponent with his strength. Every punch of his was solid. He estimated that after another 10 punches, this brat would fall to the ground, heavily injured and vomiting blood. Fighting against an innate was different from fighting against a normal warrior. In a defenseless state, as long as an innate ranker landed a punch on him, he would immediately fall to the ground. If this brat's body was completely exhausted after receiving a punch from the double-strengthened giant fist, all the bones of his body would probably be shattered. Even if he could be saved, his future would probably be bleak. Tu Cheng's face was filled with pride. He raised his giant fist high up, preparing to smash it down with the force of a thunderbolt, forcing Yu Yang to face it head-on. Wait, Tu Cheng, we admit defeat in this battle. Don't fight anymore. The Thousand Goblin sect leader would definitely not be so stupid as to let his subordinates train for someone else. Furthermore, this brat's potential was extremely strong. If he allowed him to improve, then his own position in the top 10 might even be pushed back. He decided to give up on this battle. Losing the battle didn't matter, but he definitely couldn't let this brat grow stronger. What? Everyone couldn't believe it and looked at the Thousand Goblin sect leader in astonishment. What a shrewd fellow. Only Impatience was a little dissatisfied, but she snorted as if she had expected it. You want me to admit defeat? You want me to kneel down and beg for mercy in front of this brat? Tu Cheng was even more shocked. If the person who spoke was not the Thousand Goblin sect leader, Tu Cheng would probably have punched him already. Never in his dreams would he have thought that his most respected sect leader would actually ask him to admit defeat. What was the point of admitting defeat? It was equivalent to kneeling down and begging for mercy in front of so many familiar faces to a 20-year-old brat, who was also the enemy, who had humiliated him. If he kneeled down like this, would he still be able to stand up straight in the future? He was an innate, not a commoner. No matter how strong the enemy he faced, he would always stand proudly. But now he was actually asked to kneel down. I feel that it's best to end this battle as soon as possible. Even if you admit defeat, no one can deny your strength. No matter who you kneel down to, it will not change. The Thousand Goblins sect leader sighed softly. You are an innate. I respect your decision. But if the battle continues, you might regret it. No, even if I die in battle, I will definitely not regret it. Tu Cheng almost crazily shouted. I would rather die than kneel down. Up to you. The Thousand Goblins sect leader knew that he couldn't forcefully stop him. Now, he kind of understood the reason why the Night Empress suggested a one-on-one supreme duel. No one could forcefully stop a supreme duel. Once the duel started, there must be a victor. The reason why the Night Empress suggested a supreme duel was not to attack Tu Cheng, but to target herself. She had already calculated that he might stop it, so she suggested a supreme duel instead of a battle of honor. And Sky Law, this cunning woman, had used the condition of kneeling down and begging for mercy. She had schemed against Tu Cheng. Sky Law knew Tu Cheng's temper and character. In front of everyone, Tu Cheng, who cared about his reputation, would definitely not admit defeat, because admitting defeat meant that he would kneel down and beg for mercy. Tu Cheng was an innate, but he was not the kind of rancor who could endure humiliation. He was just a raging bull with strength. The Thousand Goblin sect leader was in a bad mood. Firstly, it was because he could not see through Yu Yang's strength. Secondly, it was because the Night Empress and Sky Law had joined hands to scheme against him. Thirdly, his subordinate Tu Cheng did not listen to his orders 100%. However, with his forbearance character, he did not show it. On the contrary, he pretended to respect Tu Cheng's opinion. Although his performance was still unclear to everyone, he had unknowingly turned the tables. If Yu Yang really won, then everyone would have more respect for him because of his foresight. If he failed to massacre the city, then the impact would be reduced to a minimum. Sect leader, please forgive Tu Cheng for disobeying your orders. This is the first time I have disobeyed your orders, and it will also be the last time. From now on, Tu Cheng dares to guarantee that he will never disobey your orders. But today, please allow Tu Cheng to have a duel with this brat. I'm not convinced, and I do not believe that I will lose. He is an innate level 1, and with the help of the ancient runes, his strength is not much different from mine. But sect leader, Tu Cheng really has the confidence to defeat him, because Tu Cheng's third strengthening has already been completed. Tu Cheng turned around and knelt down on one knee towards the Thousand Goblin sect leader. Falling out with the sect leader was not a joke. Tu Cheng was not that kind of fool. He was very clear about the sect leader's strength and temper. However, Tu Cheng was not convinced. Even if the brat in front of him had great potential and was highly valued by the Night Empress, Sky Law, and her, and was extremely cunning and had extremely fast reflexes, he had just become an innate, and was only innate level 1. On the other hand, Tu Cheng was an innate who had trained for more than 200 years. Not long ago, he had already achieved the third strengthening. The power of the third strengthening was already infinitely close to that of an innate level 3. Could it be that with the power that was infinitely close to that of an innate level 3, he still could not defeat an innate level 1 brat? Even if you beat him to death, Tu Cheng would not believe that he would lose. He would rather disobey the sect leader's orders and defeat his opponent, so that he could regain his pride. He would definitely not kneel down to someone who was weaker than him. What right did this brat have? Impatience laughed when she saw this. She looked as if she had seen her prey foolishly falling into her trap. Third strengthening? Yu Yang really wanted to see the power of the third strengthening. Just now, Yu Yang had learned the true twofold strengthening from Tu Cheng's body. When he superimposed two giant shadows onto his own body, he discovered that his strength had increased so much that he could almost contend against Tu Cheng. This threefold strengthening. How powerful would the superimposition of 3 giant shadows be? Originally, the giant shadows needed 5 shadows to merge together to become one. Now that he had learned the second strengthening, Yu Yang realized that he only needed to use one more shadow to stack the effect of 2 giant shadows. Could he also use one more shadow to stack the effect of the third strengthening? Yu Yang was really looking forward to Tu Cheng's third strengthening. What kind of changes would there be in his body? The combination of level 3 divine vision and naked eye technique would come in handy. He could learn the third strengthening that Tu Cheng had painstakingly trained for 200 years. In this battle, Yu Yang felt that if Tu Cheng knew the truth, he would definitely be so angry that he would vomit blood. He would also be so regretful that he would break his ribs. It seemed that other than the 1,000 Goblin sect leader, who seemed to be able to see through his improvement, no one else had noticed the difference in him. Maybe some people had noticed it, but these guys who were extremely scheming did not show it. The only one who had any expression on his face was the purple-clothed guy from the demonic palace. Could that guy be one of Impatience's pursuers? Yu Yang looked at Impatience. He did not manage to push this girl down, but had instead attracted a lot of love debts. Waves of jealousy rose in the sea, and he had unknowingly gained another enemy. How annoying. Little sweetheart, don't look at me. Focus on the battle. Impatience even blew Yu Yang a kiss in a flirtatious manner. Yu Yang was speechless. Damn it. When that extremely handsome purple-clothed guy saw this scene, he almost couldn't suppress his anger. Horns seemed to grow out of his forehead, and his mouth also gradually split towards his ears, slowly turning into the appearance of a dragon head monster. Only when Yu Yang looked at him did he instantly return to his original handsome appearance. Yu Yang was suddenly enlightened. So this guy wasn't a human, but a monster like Duke Xian, that 1,000-year-old tortoise spirit. It's just that he couldn't tell what kind of 1,000-year-old demon this guy was. He was called Sky Dragon. Could he be a 1,000-year-old giant dragon? Tu Cheng's threefold strengthening became even more powerful. He summoned a ball of red light and shot it towards the ground. The ground immediately shook and rose up high, as if lava was flowing out of a volcano. Under everyone's gaze, Tu Cheng jumped into the volcano's lava. Raging flames soared to the sky. When the threefold strengthening was completed, it was as terrifying as a solar storm. The shockwaves spread outwards with a loud rumble, forcing everyone to retreat half a step. Even though Elder Yu Hai, Jun Wu Yu, and Feng Kuang were holding hands, they were still forced to retreat a step and a half. It could be seen how powerful this threefold strengthening was. Yu Yang, who was in the middle of the arena, moved his hands gently like a young girl caressing a willow tree. The shockwave and raging flames around him all turned into a mysterious flame ring, revolving around his body. No matter how strong the shockwave was, it was tamed like an obedient kitten. When the 1,000 Goblin sect leader saw this, his heart trembled. He could see that this was definitely not a skill that a young man who had just become an innate could do. In the past, he, who was known as an exceptional genius, had spent 30 years to learn this skill. If it was someone else, they would definitely not be able to master it without spending 100 years. There were even a few innates who were unable to do this until now. But now, This brat was so young, yet he was already so proficient in controlling his strength. That girl, what kind of skill did she teach him? If it was a normal skill, this brat would definitely not be able to do this. Just now, the Thousand Goblin sect leader only suspected that Tu Cheng would lose and was unwilling to let him become Yu Yang's training target. But now, he was 100% sure that Tu Cheng would definitely lose this battle. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.